All right. Welcome, everyone. We'll give y'all a second to hop on. We are streaming live in the Beachbody Champions page. This is our annual Shakeology Surge. And ladies, if you want to check and see if we're streaming live correctly and give me a thumbs up, we'll make sure that it all went. I am the queen of technical difficulties when it's something big like this. And so let's make sure that we've got this.
We're
okay,
good.
Perfect. So y'all, welcome to our 2020 Shakeology Surge. This is something that we pulled together. I organized the first one back in December of 2016. And we have just made these more robust and more empowering and more exciting every year. The goal of which to pass on this knowledge and this excitement, this passion, and this confidence that we have earned and gained and built and kind of self-taught over the years with Shakeology. I started coaching in August of 2013 and had been a two-time elite coach before I really stopped to educate myself. I started reading, attending Shakeology sessions at Summit. I read, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but Darren O'Lean's book called Super Life. I started scouring and binging on Shay Stanford's blog and realizing like, wow, I've been helping myself. I've been helping other people with this product that is this key facet to our income and getting people results, our mission. And I don't even really understand the magic and power of what's in this bag. And I thought through all of the classes I had gone to in undergrad and grad school, and none of which were helping me build an income and sustain my life. And yet now I've got these products and these tools that I wanted to pull all this knowledge together and learn and glean from the amazing leaders of the network. And that is what we've pulled together. So tonight we're going to dig into that. We're going to talk a little bit about what Shakeology is, what it isn't, how it's formulated, how we source our ingredients, why it's created the way it's created, as well as then the second half will be really digging into how as coaches we can empower and equip our customers and clients and coaches to get great results and to help benefit their health and to pay that forward to others as well. Would anyone love to learn more about these things? Our hope and our goal is that you just get really pumped, because we are, and that you feel really confident moving forward to share in a way that keeps you compliant, that keeps you really compelling and inspiring people, and really making an impact, the impact and reaching the goals that you have for yourself. So check in below. We would love to know, how long have you been drinking Shakeology? Where are you hailing from in the world? We are now open in France and the UK, and I know it's a little late for y'all, so you'll probably be watching the recording, but we've got people watching live from the United States and Canada, and I did see a couple comments about folks in the UK staying up really late. So if that is you, I'm giving you a huge high five. And we do have some slides, and so we're just going to dig in. We do have an amazing guest, and as well as this great lineup tonight with Darren O'Lean, and he'll be on in a second to kick us off. And let me get my slides going, and we'll go from there. So every year we've had a different lineup of hosts, and I'm really particularly excited about the amazing ladies that are leading tonight with us. And you're gonna learn so much. I wanted to introduce, if you watched the National Wake Up Call or listened to the National Wake Up Call on Monday, it just serendipitously, this became Shakeology Week in Beachbody Land, with Salted Caramel Shakeology launching yesterday. And on Monday, Lauren did an amazing National Wake Up Call. And she's an 8-star diamond in her first CBC, 3-star diamond in her second, 1-star in her third, and a 3-time elite leader, and has been coaching since October 2015. If you didn't listen to that National Wake Up Call, put that on your to-do, your must listen to. And she is a former anesthesiologist, a physician who left practicing in 2016 and is opening up Functional Medicine Wellness Center in Illinois. You guys, I wish I lived in Illinois. I love my functional medicine doctor, but I just love this. Just really digging into the holistic nutritional based, medicine. And so that is a little bit about Lauren. I'll let her give a little bit more there. Shay has been doing this call with me since the very beginning. I think this is our sixth Surge. I can't say that very fast. She is one of my favorite people in the world, actually, but she's a 15-star diamond, 3-star diamond in her second CBC. Her husband is a 2-star diamond. She's a Success Club legend, had 10 years in pharmaceutical experience prior to becoming a coach, and is now a certified holistic health coach. She's presented at Summit 3 times, National Wake Up Call 3 times, and is a Legacy Club member for several years, and has 3 amazing kids, 2 daughters and a son, and has been coaching since 2011. She also has a really beautiful sporty new hair color that you might recognize shade of blonde here, but now she is a raven goddess. Amy Silverman, so excited to have you tonight, Amy. 7-time top 10 coach, 9-time elite coach, Legacy Club member as well, former CAB or Coach Advisory Board member, one of the newest superstar diamonds in our company. Well done this quarter, Miss Silverman. A mom of a beautiful 17-month-old baby girl, expecting baby number 2, I think in August, right? And married to Kevin, her best friend for 13 years. Jessica is, I was really excited to invite Jessica. I happened to hear from my coaches who went to one of her, what do we call them? Super Saturday talks on Shakeology. And they said, she's amazing. She talked about Shakeology in such a great way. It was so exciting. She's a 2-time premier coach, 5-star diamond, a 1-star in her second CBCs, and been coaching for 4 years. She is an integrative RN with a specialty in infectious disease, and a mom of 2 toddlers. Oh, I didn't even notice this. You're pregnant with baby number 3. Congratulations. And I always feel weird to introduce myself, but I hail from the Pacific Northwest. I live in Bend, Oregon. I'm a superstar diamond in my first business center, 3-star in my second, 2-star in my third, and diamond in my fourth. My husband also works a diamond business, and we're a 5-time elite team, Legacy Club member, and I've been so honored to get to speak on the National Wake Up Call and at Summit. I'm a rescue for a mama and advocate for kind of all the things, and including knowledge and learning, and a retired school counselor, yoga teacher, and waitress. We are going to start with this amazing disclaimer. Like I said, we want us to all be compliant, and we want to make sure that we are being really respectful of the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC's guidelines and expectations around how we conduct and educate and share. So this presentation, y'all, is just for information purposes only. We have some amazingly qualified and skilled presenters tonight. They are not presenting in their role as nurses and doctors, but rather coaches who also happen to have those, wear those hats in other areas of their life. We are in no way claiming, nor will we claim that that Shakeology is curative, that any of our products are curative or going to prevent medical illnesses and diseases. We'll always refer, and I'm going to say it very clearly, we'll say it again many times, refer you to your medical professional, and tell you to refer your customers and your coaches and your clients to medical professionals, and go from there. And that said, we are really proud of this product and these products and this ability to share this. We have our own personal testimonies. We've been working with people for years that have been able to really impact and benefit their health and their life in this way. And that's what we want you to feel excited and empowered to go and work with people and get your own testimonies as well. Is there anything anyone wants to add to this disclaimer before I move on from this slide? Okay, perfect. I wanted to frame, before we welcome Darren, why we do this. We have a country, a world truly, that's in a healthcare crisis, right? The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has reported that 1/3 of US adults are obese, right? It is very clear that our mission at Beachbody is to help people live healthy and fulfilling lives. And our CEO has made it really emboldened mission and called us all to action to help end obesity in our country. We've got a big challenge there. 1/3 of US adults are obese. Obesity is directly related to some of the most preventable illnesses and deaths that are caused by poor nutrition: heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Like I said, we're not claiming that any of this is curative to those things, but as we take our job as a coach, as a health and nutrition coach seriously, I want us to take our ability to really address this issue, this issue that I guarantee all of us, anyone watching knows at least one person in their life that has been impacted by one of these three top illnesses that, we face. I know I have people in my life, people I love very much that have been, and if I want to help make a difference there. Medical costs for people, that are overweight or in the obese category are over $1,400 higher annually than someone of normal weight. So we're looking at how to save people money, how to better add value to their life, how to better their life, but also how to save them money. And prevention and proper nutrition in our 20s, 30s, 40s is going to really set the trajectory of that quality of life, the cost of living, the cost of staying healthy in our 60s, 70s, 80s, or even earlier. I mean, I know people, I'm 40. I know people my age that are struggling with health and nutrition related illnesses and ailments and struggles and just quality of life. So it isn't something that is only going to impact those that are a little older. Another really key thing, why I think this is so important, is that 92%, this is American Medical Association. The American Medical Association says that 92% of Americans are deficient in at least one micronutrient. That's a big deal. That's almost everyone, right? And that they highly recommend that we take a multivitamin. And we don't know where those things are sourced, where the ingredients from those multivitamins are sourced, how bioavailable those ingredients are. And so we can understand what about we won't necessarily be able to dig into any other products, but we can understand and better equip ourselves with our products. And that's what we're going to dig into tonight. And I love hearing Darren talk about how and why we source the ingredients that we source, because we'll learn more about this. Sick soil means sick Americans. And this is from Discover Health. You guys, we're over farming, and we're eating foods that are coming from sick soils. They're coming from nutrient deficient soils. And so we're really intentional. There's a lot of integrity around where every single ingredient from Shakeology is sourced, so that it is from a nutrient dense and nutrient rich, the best soils in the world. And we'll learn more about that. And like I kind of already mentioned, the cheapest form of health insurance is prevention. And this is our best way to start that. We also are going to really challenge you to understand how to ask better questions, even of your medical doctors and your nutritionists, and ask them why. If someone recommends something, it's not to discredit them, and it's not to not listen to them, but to ask, well, why are you saying that? Help me understand, so that you feel like you're really in control of your health and your nutrition, and you feel really confident around the people that are guiding you. Because, John Maxwell's my favorite, PD mentors. And he said, he wrote a book actually called Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. So we want you to be able to self-analyze and critique and ask those great questions. And so all of these things are things that when I was starting to kind of self-teach and learn and read from Darren's book and online, like I had already mentioned, I kind of really geeked out about it. I was like, this is amazing. I didn't actually ever stop to think about any of these things. And I found that it really made me proud and excited and want to learn more. So that's kind of our hope here. And what we are hoping for each of you guys. Let me see if Darren is close, because we're going to just kick that off. Is there anything you ladies would like to add to this or say as we kind of get Darren set up here?
If Darren's running late, I can go ahead and talk and then stop when he gets on. If that will make the flow of everything happen better.
No, well, he's on right now. I see him in his yurt.
Oh, I don't see him. Oh,
I see the yurt roof. So I think we're good. I'm going to, if you're ready, Darren, I'll introduce you. And you guys, Darren O'Lean is, if you haven't read Super Life, I'm going to plug it again, and I'll put it in the live stream as linked to Amazon. This is one of this book changed my business. He is also the founder he's the co-creator and co-formulator of Shakeology, and that's what he's going to talk about tonight. He's also the founder of Barukas, which if you have never tried Barukas, it's amazing. You can also order them on his website or on Amazon. It's a super nut from the Savannah of Brazil, and is really big on sustainable farming and just really supporting the biome, the whole overall biome of the world. He has launched this year. He launched a health app called Tribed, which is designed to help people learn about health and follow programs for the optimal life. He's an advisor to the P5 Energy, which is a cutting edge technology, which is actually really cool. I love watching his stories, and I've like kind of geeked out on this too, which is a green technology incubator with a primary focus on zero pollution power systems, and is a partner in Green Path, which is dedicated to real solutions for our new world with nanotechnology for hand and surface sanitation. You guys, Darren walks the walk and talks the talk. He is like truly innovative. He's like the superfood hunter, and we're just super lucky to get to learn from him. We're super lucky that he is the heart and core of, with Isabel, of Shakeology and the Ultimate Reset. And I'm going to just shut up and let you take it away, Darren.
Cool. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Always a pleasure to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's health and nutrition and superfoods and this amazing shake that has been on a journey since starting in 2006. And joining forces with Isabel, the lightning bolts immediately went crazy when we first met each other, and realizing that we had this synergy with the way we looked at what people need, the way we looked at food and nutrition and superfoods and the need and the filling in the gaps for kind of really, we had no idea what was about to come in terms of how bad foods continue to get and how incredibly needed we have for these nutrients in our world more than ever. And so if anything, taking care of yourself is more important than ever, and that's the most obvious statement on the planet right now. So just kind of going through the questions that Jamie has set out. Like, I'll just go quickly because you can probably find this story on infinite amount of podcasts, but really my desire for superfood hunting came before the days of Beachbody, and it was really because of this very thing that I kept seeing, and that is we've known that food has been stripped of its nutrients from the early 1900s. I was seeing supplements that had poor choices, and then marketing all of the good stuff about them, and then having poor choices in the formulation. And that was the cornerstone of why I even started traveling and why I really dedicated my life to that part of myself, because I was so frustrated with the real stories that are essentially real and even better, of how some of these plants have been used for tens of thousands of years. And yet, when they showed up in a package or a bottle or something like that, it was weak, it was dangerous at times, it was underutilized, it was just, it felt such a disservice. And when you kind of look in the eyes of so many people around the world, so many global adventurers, and being in the middle of nowhere, and then having that hard work of those people, those farmers in rural areas and in the corners of the globe, and then you destroy this incredible botanical, and it ends up in this package. It was heartbreaking, because number one, the cornerstone, I think of, and I can say this for Isabel, we just want people to feel good, right? And we really, because I have, and Isabel has, we've all had our own struggles. So when you get the opportunity of being able to collapse that world and say, wow, I can really help facilitate high quality ingredients, and then holy shit, like Carl means it and Beachbody means it, and let's go do this. And then every day getting to continuously revamp and improve the formula. Even though you guys see a new formula pop up every once in a while, but we have weekly meetings where we're constantly innovating, and it takes a long time to make some of those shifts. So I just want you guys all to know that this is a living formula, that we're always dedicated to improving the synergy of the formula and also its individual ingredients. It's always happening. And that's the exciting thing, because it's not just, we did a formula and now we just get to talk about it and drink it. And it definitely is not the case. So, so that being said, let me get into a little bit of what Shakeology is. Listen, it's infinitely more than a protein shake. It's infinitely more than just a powder. Again, going back to what I just said, 1,500 tests a batch go into making sure that formula tastes good and is at the efficacious levels that we have set out for it to have. And that alone is a mic drop in the industry. I mean, that alone, I mean, if that didn't sink in, that's 1,500 tests a batch. That is phenomenal. And that's literally profits that could be that are put into the formula, into the testing, so that we have a real balanced, nutritionally dense formula that's there to help people. And you know what? At the end of the day, that is the cornerstone of where it started, and it's still there today, this day. So, a bunch of globally sourced from all over the world, literally, we get to support that chain. We get to support those farmers. We get to support you in drinking it. And that at the end of the day feels good to all of us at Beachbody. And so before I get into some of the other benefits of what is Shakeology, I just got, sometimes things get legal. And so we have to just kind of say like, listen, no supplement is essentially approved by the FDA. That's not how they do it. So these statements I'm going to say are not evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent diseases. Okay. So common sense is you take care of yourself in a holistic way, your body really knows what to do to help kick ass in your life. And that's, and I also don't mean to be flippant about the FDA statement, because, and I don't mean to be flippant about that synergy, because that bloody synergy is powerful. So let's just kind of a microcosm to a macrocosm. Our Shakeology has been formulated so that that pleomorphic effect of all of the individual ingredients gifting those phytonutrients, those prebiotics, those antioxidants, those fibers, all of that stuff is to create this balance and this foundation for you to feel good and to have more energy and vitality. Come on. I mean, that literally is the foundation. So we're not going to run around and say it's curing this, it's curing that. Listen, you provide the body and you exercise and you drink your water and you eat great food. Shakeology is there to provide you with that nutrient-dense, power-packed nutritional shake that is there to support you in your life, period. And so that is not just a flippant statement to say. That is embedded in my DNA, Isabel's DNA, R&D team, Carl, Beachbody, everybody. And if it wasn't, the shake wouldn't be around. Isabel would have left, I would have left. It just wouldn't be what it is when you're getting millions of people every day drinking it and getting phenomenal results. So I just want to just be very super clear that you all know that you don't have to run around being a nutrition expert, that you literally have a powerful shake that has a ton of benefits. So obviously, from that perspective, you have this overall health that Shakeology is built in. to provide that balance for you, right? So then with that balance, guess what it does? It supports healthy weight loss. Wow. What a no-brainer, right? So it's like and this stuff is, I laugh at myself sometimes because I do these talks and it's like when you take care of yourself and when we take care of our formula and provide it to you with our 1,500 tests, with globally sourcing around the world, with some of the greatest botanicals in the world, and you guys are also hitting your workouts and starting to be aware of your body in a bigger way, guess what? Weight loss happens. You all know that. So that's the beautiful thing. And so when you can have this formula and have Shakeology that helps you have healthy weight loss and helps you maintain energy and vitality, that is literally the body's foundation of health. So you don't have to get stuck on acute, what is it doing? Do you ever ask when you eat an apple, what is it doing? Well, yeah, you could break apart the quercetin and the apple pectin, and then you could talk about all of those things. But the synergy of the apple has got 300 compounds that help keep the doctor away, right? So that's, I want to really implore you to understand the symphony that Shakeology is. That as at its core, it's giving you these healthy benefits, right? So then again, when you provide yourself with these great ingredients and prebiotics and probiotics and healthy ingredients, your digestion improves. Like boom, like it helps support healthy cravings. Like I don't want to just go down that mental list without you understanding that the core of Shakeology is there to help the foundation. So it's not peeling you off and just hitting your energy centers of your body and hitting, weight centers so your weight loss. It's the synergy that's allowing your body to thrive. So I hope that makes a little more sense and anchors those points in so that they mean a little bit more, right? So digestion and cravings and vitality and energy and weight loss, that's healthy. so those are some of the things that Shakeology helps you with. So, there's 50 plus ingredients, right? And we have carefully globally sourced those from around the world. Obviously I've gotten to travel quite a bit in this place, but we also now get to have teams of our operations to be able to monitor and support the processing and to start kicking in those 1,500 tests and everything. So that's an incredible aspect to what Shakeology is. Of course, it's got its fiber, it's 16 to 17 grams of protein and all of this stuff. And so all of those things that some of my favorite category that I always love to highlight, and that is the group of the adaptogens, right? So you got from chaga to reishi to cordyceps to schizandra. One of my favorite names, if I would have a daughter, it might be her name. So these and many astragalus, ashwagandha, maca, all of these incredible adaptogens help your body deal with stress. And I don't know about you, but my stress level has gone up. Like I definitely have been feeling the effects of the world. So at our core, I just kind of give a little wink to Isabel because we know the power of these plants. And when you start using them on a consistent daily basis, we know the power of them. So when you don't have to have a degree in nutrition to understand these ancient botanicals have always been used for thousands of years to help deal with stress. So guess what? That's what we have in Shakeology. So, it's just these beautiful kind of moments that there was an absolute reason for all of these buckets of that we have, these categories, but again, really it's that synergistic effect that's incredibly important as you're drinking Shakeology every day. It's little things, this through exercise, it's little things added up over time that give you the results. And that is the cornerstone of the creation of Shakeology. So again, there's tons of things around, sourcing. I just have to highlight sourcing is something I think is the story in Shakeology is massively underutilized and probably just not understood. And listen, you're talking from a guy who's sourced for 20 years. So I really see when something is not right. I have been into hundreds of facilities around the world, and most would never even come close. The running joke was, the R&D and quality control team would always be great. You found a new ingredient, and is it in some fat hut somewhere that it's never going to pass any quality control? And that's kind of the running joke. But the work of the team, of all of these people that have to come together, even if I or Isabel came up with an ingredient or found something, it has to pass all of our tests. It doesn't matter that it could be the greatest thing from a mountaintop in the middle of the sovereign mountains of China, of Tibet. It doesn't matter. It's got to pass. And 50% of all of our ingredients that have first come to us fail because they don't hit our standard. So they have to hit our standard. So the sourcing aspect of Beachbody is so important because you guys are drinking something and every day people are trying to copy. We were so far ahead, and I don't toot my own horn on this. The synergy of all of us coming together at the same time, and Carl and Isabel and myself, especially when given the opportunity to go, like, you guys formulate, just go. And getting to do that. Now people are trying to copy us, and I really all the time, and I don't care about copiers because it doesn't matter. They can flip over the bag and see that maybe some of those ingredients were the same or are the same. It's irrelevant because our sourcing protocols blow them away. I mean, every source is meticulous and carefully assessed and tested, period. And most companies, I don't know what they're doing, so I can't claim, but I have seen in my life places where companies are getting things sourced from, and it's extremely scary. Let's just put it that way. I've literally been in a processing facility, and where was this one? Yeah, the bird one. I think it was in South America. So there was this beautiful process, and it was actually a German machine and all that stuff, and they were putting these ingredients in there. I'm not going to call out the ingredients, but they're putting these ingredients literally above. I looked, and there was birds, bird poop can get in there, and it's kind of like. So anyway, it's an extremely important aspect. Our quality control, our research and development, our testing protocols, and our finding ingredients that we can use and meet the quality standards that we have set, and that's can't be underutilized, as well as there's some organizations that we are in alignment with in terms of sustainability, and that is, one is Forest for All Forever. So helping support quality standards and sustainability is extremely important to all of us. So anyway, I'm going off on aspects. Let me just see. Highest quality, got through all of that. So yeah, just quickly, I can't get into too many details on that, but an ingredient could look like, you find an ingredient in a place around the world. You have to test the ingredient. Number one, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can't even put it in the formula until you've tested it in country of origin. How is it being processed? How is it being grown? Is the soil contaminated or not? Unfortunately, around the world, like with the industrial modern day world, there's heavy metals and things and unwanted particulates showing up in crazy places that you would never think. So testing in country, making sure farming practices are correct, producing the obviously following the production line to make sure that passes all audits. And you'd be surprised how many people fail. It's astonishing. And then that product is tested after it's processed. And once that's tested, that's cleared for shipment. Then the shipment is controlled shipping. And then once it gets here, it's quarantined, it's shipped. There's certain fingerprinting or botanical identification that happens. It's extremely important because of botanical theft and botanical sleight of hand. So that's extremely important. Is that botanical what it's supposed to be when it arrives? And then it goes through all of the other hundreds and hundreds of tests to make sure that it has the compounds that we deem are important or needed in there, and what is not in there is not in there. So that journey of an ingredient is extreme. And when you come to 50 plus ingredients, and then the overall synergy of testing, once it's all put together and it goes through this whole nother stability testing and synergy testing from there, it's extremely there's a lot that goes into it. So that really is something that we're extremely proud of. Let me see. Yeah. So, I mean, you guys have heard a lot of this other stuff, but, the thing that I just want to emphasize is when the body has been given, it's a wide variety of botanicals, when it's been maybe from the normal amount of food that we have been processing, when in 1930, they saw that 99% of the food that was being produced back then was severely deprived in micronutrients. And that was in the 30s from monocropping. So again, that was some of the genesis of some of the questions of creation that Isabel and I both went into, because of knowing that we needed to grab and cultivate and find and use and put together some of the greatest botanicals in the world. And we're proud to have them in the shake. And that cornerstone is the cornerstone to health. So anyway, there's many different rabbit holes to go down. So Jamie, if you have any other questions, whatever, we can.
I do. Hold on. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I messed it up somehow, so I can't see it. So, okay. I have a lot of questions. I know some of these ladies have some questions. Can you talk through the idea of Shakeology being a whole food still, and what that means or doesn't mean?
Yeah, well, let's, obviously it's a supplement, right? So we've taken a whole food and we've measured. So that, I think it comes down to when you take an ingredient and you figure out, okay, it's grown this way, it has these constituents in it, these constituents are healthy for us and vital for us. So when you distill it down, you process it, you dry it, your biggest thing is how do you maintain those qualities and then having it end up in a bag, right? So that's the biggest thing, and each ingredient is different. So, but it also comes down to understanding how it's growing, understanding the temperatures of how it's being used and the processing it's going through, and then it all comes down in how it's being tested. So obviously, an apple isn't sitting inside the bag. It's these botanicals that have been tested to make sure that those beneficial compounds are still in the bag, giving it its synergy of whole nutrients. Make sense?
It does. Amy, did you want to follow up with that a little differently, or?
No, I just wanted to ask Darren. Hi, Darren. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
So I got my Living Food certification a couple years back, and it was super enlightening about what it means to be alive and what Shakeology, what he means by it being alive. So I was wondering if you could just explain the dehydration process and what keeps the ingredients so vibrant when it comes to nutritional value for everybody.
Yeah. So, listen, it's all, as you know, it's all about oxidation. It's all about temperature. It's all about timing from when you've grown something and when you've started to harvest. And every ingredient is also massively different in that process. So like some of the botanicals, some of the adaptogens, part of the drying process is necessary for some of that conversion to happen. So when you're thinking in terms of like a whole fruit, you're like, okay, camu, for example, your prime compound in that is vitamin C, right? So the vitamin C is tested through that process, and if you scorch it, if you increase the heat too much, that will show up and it won't be testable, right? Or so that quality has gone down. So those are some of the checks and balances that we have in place. But again, it'd be nice if I had a one swooping answer, but it's literally each ingredient. For example, maca, you harvest maca, it's a root, and it stays in the field under a drying tent for 3 months. Right? So it's activating other macamides and macamines. And so those compounds are actually expressing themselves through the drying process, and then the pulverization, and then the slow drying from there obviously maintains some of that. So that's just a hint. We could go through each one of them, but essentially it's harvest, the timing, the temperature, and what kind of botanical it is.
I think it's so fascinating. So I have a question. I was wondering, actually, and just as a disclaimer, Darren, if we ask you anything that you're like, I can't really talk to that because it's proprietary or it's just just too touchy of a subject, just feel free to say like pass. You mentioned, I think it was forests for all forever. Is that the term? And then I don't know if this ties in, but I've loved learning a little bit about how you and the R&D and the Shakeology team has worked with these places we've sourced from, these little teeny farms and villages, and like how we create this sustainable process so that they can support themselves, but also like meet our kind of massive demands at the same time. Could you dig into that at all?
Yeah, so the question is what exactly?
Well, so I just would love to learn more about or if you could share more about that process of working with those small farms and villages. And then if it's related, I'm curious, I've never heard the forests for all forever term before. And so maybe they work together, maybe it's two separate questions.
Yeah, it's two separate questions, but the farmer thing is we've got small farmers around the world, but also organized, some of which through cooperatives that have to abide by certain quality standards. And that's the beautiful thing about, there's farmers themselves. There hasn't been a farmer I have ever met that doesn't want to grow things and then have a market. And so just literally by people drinking Shakeology every day gives these farmers the assurance that what is in the ground this year is going to be bought for next year. So, I mean, listen, we have farmers change all the time. So, there's some farmers early on that I've known for 10 years and throughout South America. But at the same time, some ingredients and some new stuff has never made it to Shakeology because it's impossible to scale. There has to be some sort of ability to scale that. We can't just put anything in there. And so super small farmers with no ability to get that to a proper processing facility, or it's not organized in a cooperative kind of way by villagers, by the indigenous people, then that also can't happen. But yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point how many rural farmers were actually involved with, but that was actually a question that came up. I would like to know, because that's a great number to talk about, because those are hard working, beautiful people from around the world that are taking care of your ingredients. So that's something that we can try to do a little reconnaissance on and see a guesstimate maybe one day of how many farmers. I would love to get some of their faces and stories up myself one day, but maybe I'm sticking my foot in my mouth and Beachbody is going to slap me for that one. But that would be a great one to do, to highlight some of those great people.
I think that would be fun. I would love to learn about them. What does forest for all forever mean? Or is that too tangential and off topic?
Yeah, it's a great company that's there to support sustainability, number one, and support trees and forests. And it's just it's a general organization that we align with, and part of the sustainable practice that we contribute to.
Perfect. Okay, we have a few more questions. So what, and actually it was Jessica's question. Do you want to ask it, Jess?
Sure. Loving all of this. And so I attract a lot of holistic health coaches because I am one, and I'm sure you get this question a lot, but we get asked about, we do all this testing, but specifics about what about pesticides, herbicides, and GMO sourcing? Can you speak to that as far as what our testing looks like?
Yeah, well, I mean, generally speaking, yeah, we don't accept pesticides, herbicides, or GMOs in our product. So we have our standards. So we test them, and if they come back, with spikes, then we don't accept those. And those quality standards are with our suppliers anyway. So we're testing everything. So it's not like they could slide that by, because again, something that's different than us, than other companies, many of the maybe smaller companies, is they're not doing their own tests. They're relying on those tests to come from their own supplier saying, hey, listen, here's the C of A. But again, the assurance that you guys should really take on is we're doing all of those tests ourselves. And so we've also worked extremely hard with all of our botanicals to make sure that if there is exposure, we've mitigated that from growing processes to changing out different ingredients. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that we're constantly doing to improve all of the formulations. And obviously, we're like pesticides, herbicides, GMOs are something we're it's not gonna fly.
Okay, so another question around that line of thought. So I guess it was a few years ago now, because it was when Cafe Latte came out, we reformulated and we replaced agave with raw cane sugar. Am I correct in that? Then that kind of flow. Can you talk through? Because I know another thing that we hear a lot is like the sugar content in Shakeology, and there's concerns around that. And I know I've heard you speak before around raw cane sugar as its own ingredient versus what we kind of typically come to know as table sugar.
Exactly. So obviously it's an organic raw cane sugar. It's got micronutrients and minerals in it. And you know, this amount of sugar, like, listen, you could even have a ketogenic person take Shakeology, as long as they're not, you know, if they're worried so much about their carbs, you could drink Shakeology and completely be fine. So it's all about balance, right? So again, the amount of sugar in Shakeology is so little in comparison. Now, if you're taking in all these sugars and all these other things in your life, and you have susceptibilities in your pre-diabetic or whatever, then obviously you need to take care of your life as opposed to that. So I've never been worried too much about the small amount of contributing sugar in Shakeology. And again, we're constantly working to always improve. So we went from coconut sugar, which was also a fantastic micronutrient sugar. They couldn't scale with us, so we had to move on. We went to agave. Oh shit! Did I just lose you?
No, but you're still here.
Oh, sorry. I lost. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I hit my keyboard, and it went blank. Yeah. So then when we went to agave, and then we're like, okay, so let me just create a context here. So we have incredible sweetening system. So we've got stevia, very well tested stevia. We've got Lohan Gao, which is an incredible traditional Chinese medicine called another name for it, monk fruit, and we've got this cane, and all together makes this incredible, delicious sweetening. Now, the way we look at it is like the glycemic index is your testing protocol to know that this is a low glycemic product. So that's your benchmark that you're looking at. So that synergy is showing up as tested as low glycemic, and that's really the blend again of everything else. Plus, you have again, we always want to pull out, either create extraordinary benefits from one ingredient or look at another ingredient, but it's the synergy of it all, because we got prebiotics, probiotics, fiber that also helps to slow down the absorption of sugar and everything else. So again, just like how I started, we've tested the overall formula and it's low glycemic, and that's the true expression of the formula. And so it's something that we absolutely don't worry about. And at the same time, we are constantly working to improve the formula, always. So behind the scenes, we're constantly looking at every single ingredient to improve, always. And that's the fun. So anyway, that's my general answer. And again, if I go down any deeper rabbit hole, I'll get Beachbody's attorney calling me. But yeah, it's a macronutrient, not to be too concerned about it. It's an incredibly balanced formula, obviously with an infinite amount of benefits by millions of people. So anyway, that's the deal with that one.
Well, and we don't want the legal team calling you and slapping you on the hand. So we'll leave it at that. Are you able to talk about the Ultimate Reset, our 21-day detox? Because that isn't something we dig into very often on these calls, and it happens to be my favorite program product of everything Beachbody has ever offered. And I know you created that as well with Isabel, I think.
Yeah.
Can you talk through like what you love about it or what you would love us to know about it? Because I think it's kind of an unsung hero, so to speak. And I don't know that even a lot of people watching even know that we're going to talk, Shay's going to dig into some of the specific supplements of the UR, but just as a whole, why it was created, what you love about it, what you would love us to know about it.
I tell you, yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's one of the most powerful programs at Beachbody, period. Because again, it's based in solid, sensible, common sense protocols of showing you how to eat great, getting a bunch of plants in with some incredible advanced supplementation, systemic enzymes, to probiotics, to digestive support, to aloe and curcumin, and it's just an incredible. But that's kind of the same thing when you take out, because it's also what Ultimate Reset is also what you're not doing. So it gives you a framework of taking out all of this stuff that you might be doing habitually that is causing the undermining of your own health. Obviously, processed foods and all of that stuff. And we deliver, and I'm sure having done it so many times like yourself, you know that the celebration of food is there. Like, you're not starving, you're not deprived, you are eating whole plant-based delicious food with its supplements, and it gets ridiculous results. Like, people naturally improve their vitality and weight loss, and they just feel good. And we've done I'm sure you can give a link to the clinical trial that we did. It's just phenomenal. And so to be able to put formulas together and a program that is really centered around healthy eating and allowing your body to naturally detox when aligned up correctly through, like, we get into water and the importance of water and scheduling on getting super hydrated that way. Like, it's the cornerstone, I believe, of truly optimizing your health. My dream is that people do that program and then slowly kind of keep it and don't kind of let go of it too much. Take those habits that you've built and then continue with it, because that is, again, the basis of just optimizing detoxification, vitalization, hydration, and it's just like you said, it's a very powerful program, and people shouldn't be intimidated by it at all. Like, it kind of takes you along, and in this one there's no containers, so it's like you just eat what's there, and it's fantastic. And especially now that people are home a little bit more, it's easier to prepare all that food.
I think we just had, the easiest Ultimate Reset group just this last couple months. People were feeling like it went by like in a flash, because everyone's been home, and
right on.
A great season for yummy fruits and vegetables. Here's a personal question: how often is too often to do the Ultimate Reset? Because I have done it like twice a year for the last 6 years.
Oh, I mean,
I love it.
Easily doing it. This is my personal opinion. Easily once a quarter, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
Everyone's really excited about your yurt, I will say. That seems to be what I'm seeing in my chat the most.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun space until I rebuild my house, but it's a cool, really cool space.
Does anyone else have any questions for Darren while we have him? Thank you so much for being so candid and open.
You're welcome.
I know
My
Jessica
pleasure.
just shared the link in the live stream. She shared in the comments the link to the clinical study for Ultimate Reset. So that is
Right.
there for you guys. Is there a chance that Barukas will ever be in Shakeology? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, we haven't had that discussion, but yeah, I don't think Barukas would make it just because it's a nut and you'd have to process it into a powder and just wouldn't work. But certainly it tastes really good on Shakeology bowls on top of Shakeology. It's probably my go-to everyday snack for sure.
And I don't eat nuts, and I love. And you were like, I think you'll be okay, and I am, and I love it. It's such a yummy
Nice.
snack.
Nice. Right
And I
on.
do put it on my Shakeology bowls as well. Lauren, Shay, Jessica, Amy, anything for Darren? Okay. Well, thanks, Darren. This was awesome, and I always appreciate you and learn so much. I actually have one more to sign us off.
Yep.
What would you didn't touch on it tonight, but often you have in the past. You're really advocate of like the idea that Shakeology is not expensive. So would you kind of like send us off tonight with your perspective of, or what you would say when someone challenges the cost of Shakeology?
Oh my God, I would easily say it's cheap. When you realize the journey of every ingredient from the shores of South America to the mountaintops of China and everything in between, the journey of an ingredient to make sure that that ingredient is not compromised and is done correctly, to be able to have all of those ingredients put together and to have hundreds of people at the company making sure that that product is what it's supposed to, spending millions of dollars to making sure that the quality standards are there and tested for you for the quality and safety and efficacy. Oh my God, if you all could understand the journeys of some of these places I've been to and to realize that you have to get that ingredient from those places safely, and someone has to farm those, and someone has to transport those, and hundreds of people have to test those. We care about that product. So is there going to be cheap people using crappy ingredients that they don't even know what those ingredients have in them, nor do they even have a connection to where they're from or the people that are making them? Hell yeah, you're going to have those cheap ass products, but you're not going to have Shakeology. And this is a cheap product, cheap in cost and massive benefit and abundance for your body.
Perfect. I love it. What's your favorite flavor?
I gotta say, man, early on it was chocolate. Now it's vegan strawberry and vanilla.
Have you tried the salted caramel?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Did you love it?
For sure, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks, Darren. I'll stop holding you hostage now, and we'll keep going.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much. See everyone.
Bye,
Cheers.
guys. Okay. So you all, I'm gonna go back to the slides, and up next we have Lauren. No. Yes, we have Lauren, I think.
Yes. And you
Yeah.
don't
I don't have a slide for you.
Yeah, you don't. I don't do slides. That is not my strong forte. We'll just say that. Okay, so I know that we've already done disclaimers, but I'm going to do another disclaimer. I'm a medical doctor, but not your medical doctor. I am speaking to you as a coach that happens to be a medical doctor, but I am not a medical doctor that Beachbody has hired or asked to speak on their behalf. And the third thing is, if any of this stuff makes you think, I need to talk about this with my doctor, I highly recommend you talk to your primary care doctor or go to an organization like ifm.org and find a functional medicine doctor who will help you take a holistic approach to your nutrition, to your health problems, and that can help you find a holistic way before you have to go to medicine. So those are my 3 disclaimers, okay? So I'm really excited because the topic that I got to by chance talk about is the diet cycle. And instead of calling it the diet cycle, I like to call it the diet roller coaster ride. And I'm just going to start off by giving you a few facts. And these are so sad, and I'm sure that you've heard some of them, but by the age of 8, most young females have started to think about being on their first diet. Childhood obesity has tripled since the 80s when America was first called out on the war against obesity. 95% of diets fail, and most will regain the weight lost in 1 to 5 years. And I've actually seen statistics saying that it's close to actually like 99%, not 95%. And 75% of women surveyed on this one particular study endorse unhealthy thoughts, feelings, and behaviors related to food or their bodies. And this is the one that I want you to hear me out on, because this is the take home. The obesity industry will likely top $315 billion in revenue because of this diet roller coaster ride that they guarantee that you're going to stay on. And so tonight I want to talk about this diet roller coaster ride. And I want you to understand that we need to go back to school. And pretty much most of you were required to take both physics and biology at one point in time. So in physics, we learned about energy, right? Like matter cannot be created or destroyed, all of that kind of good stuff. And then in biology, you learned about the cell and the cell's content and what mitochondria are and cell membranes and all that kind of stuff, right? And where we go wrong is that we think about our bodies as a physics lab. And this is where the diet industry, the obesity industry, keeps you stuck in this cycle, because they want you to believe that you are just a simple physics lab, that all you need is just to exercise more and to eat less. Eat that 1,200 calories a day and go work your ass off for 2 hours in the gym. And guess what you're doing? Well, you're guaranteeing that you're going to be in that statistics of, well, that one said 95, but it's 99%. 99% of people that do that approach to weight loss of just exercise more and eat less calories, you'll lose weight, then you'll gain it back and then some and get back on that roller coaster ride. And I don't know about you, I love roller coaster rides, but that is not one that I want to stay on, okay? So what I want you to understand is that when you start to see your body as a biology lab instead of a physics lab, you start to understand, maybe it's more than just I need to exercise more and eat less. And I will tell you right now, my own story, if you heard me on the National Wake Up Call, I shared my story. It wasn't until I was 34 years old and I'd been in med school for 4 years, anesthesia residency for 4 years, private practice for 6 years. I've been a group fitness instructor almost for 20 years by that point. I was that person that read every single nutrition article in all of the health and fitness magazines. I did everything that I learned I was supposed to do. And yet at 34, despite teaching 4 hardcore classes a week, eating a low-fat diet, doing everything that they told me to do, I was still increasing my waistline. And I was like, something is not right here. And this is when I started to realize that I'm a biological system and not a physics lab. Okay. So what we have to understand is that when we feed our body good macro and micronutrition, the biology lab starts to work the way it's supposed to. We are this complicated system full of hormones, of neurotransmitters, full of this whole gut biome that's full of like trillions of microorganisms that all need these basics building blocks to function, right? And on the National Wake Up Call, I used the example of the styrofoam versus the cement. So if you are going to build your house and you have a truck come and dump a whole bunch of styrofoam, you're going to be like, yeah, I can't use that. I can't build a solid foundation of my house with styrofoam. Give me some good solid cement, something, right? So when we are feeding our body full of fake processed foods, I call them frankenfoods. I'm not the one that came up with that term, but it's a great term, so I'm going to use it. But when we feed our body full of these processed foods that are full of fake ingredients, artificial sweeteners, colors, dyes, all of these things that didn't come from the earth, that humans haven't been eating for the 2.5 million years that we've been walking on this planet. We've been eating food that comes from the ground, from the trees, and wild game, right? That's what humans have been surviving and thriving on. And then all of a sudden we come along and we think that we can do it better, and we create fake foods. And guess what? There's a huge, huge market, because fake food is cheap to make. And they have food scientists that actually study how to get you addicted to it. They don't want you to know that food is information, and food is either good or bad. So a calorie is not a calorie is not a calorie. If you eat 100 calories of broccoli versus 100 calories of Oreos, the information that those two pieces of food give your body are totally different. So you have got to get out of that diet mindset that, well, I just need to exercise more and I need to eat 1,200 calories. I don't know why that's always the go-to for people, but I'm telling you right now, the reason why you do not see a reunion for Biggest Loser is because all of them follow that. They all work their asses off, working out. Let's just be honest. No one will ever be able to sustain how much they work out on that show, right? And then they put them on these very caloric restrictive diets. So guess what they do? They just slow down their basal metabolic rate, because guess what? They're a biological system and not a physics lab. And their body is like, hold up, you're starving us, so we're going to slow things down because our body is smart. And it has all these hormones that talk to the rest of our body, and it basically wants us to survive. So it's going to slow down that metabolism. This is why the failure rate is 99+%, because you are slowing down your basal metabolic rate by just exercising more and eating less calories. Now, this is where Shakeology comes in, because the reason why I aligned with Beachbody was because they believe the same core beliefs that I do, that we're going for the goal of healthy, not skinny, right? I know I've had a lot of patients that are skinny and really unhealthy, right? But I do believe that healthy does not look like carrying excess weight. So when we go for the goal of, I want to help you, my client, get healthy, weight comes off, but we're focusing on health instead of the number on the scale. So what you have to understand is that to get healthy, you have to have the health trifecta. You got to move, but exercise is not the way to lose exercise. Exercise has so many other benefits that help your hormones in so many ways, your mental health, everything. But to lose weight, the other two of the trifecta is the most important part: nutrition and supplementation. So our job as coaches is to use the tools that Beachbody has given us, combined with the tools that life has given us, and we help people learn how to make this healthy lifestyle and get off of that diet cycle, that diet roller coaster ride. We give them hope that it does not have to be like this your entire life. Okay, can I get an amen? I can't see the comments on Facebook, but I can see my girls right here, so I need some amens, okay? We have the power. Thank you. Y'all can't see them, but they're all doing this. But the fact is that we have the power to help people get off of this roller coaster ride that so many people have lost belief in ever being able to get off. And when we feed our body good whole food nutrition, so foods from the earth, foods from the tree, and I believe that it's wild caught game that are not grown in, you know what, I'm not going to get off on that tangent. I see Jessica laughing, my integrative nurse right there. She knows what I'm talking about. But the fact is that when we feed our body good nutrition and then we supplement with what is missing, and supplementation, you've got to understand, it's the rest of the building blocks. You don't want to put a bunch of bricks together and not have cement. We need those micronutrients. And, you keep hearing us say that the soil is depleted. Let me use one example, magnesium. Okay. Magnesium is such an important micronutrient that is needed in over 300 different reactions as a cofactor in our body. Guess what? 80% of us are walking around deficient in magnesium. And guess why? Because most of the soil, especially here in the United States, is depleted of it. So I can go on and tell you all of the foods that you need to be eating that are rich in magnesium, but hey, guess what? If it was grown in soil that's deplete of magnesium, it's not going to be rich in magnesium. And so this is why supplementation is so important. And that's why everything that Darren Oline talked about is so important, because these supplements, these micronutrient ingredients are being sourced from all over the world in places that they have respected their soil. And they're rich in those micronutrients that you need to support your hormones, to support the neurotransmitters, to support your gut health, to support all of these things that make our biological system work the way they're supposed to. So if you take anything away from this at all, I want you to understand that to get out of the diet cycle, the diet roller coaster ride, you've got to change your thoughts of, well, I just need to exercise more and eat less calories, to what do I need to feed this biological system so that I can be the healthiest and happiest, and I can help my clients be their healthiest and happiest too. So that's all I got to say. I'm done. And I'm supposed to introduce Shay. So I will tell you, most of you guys know Shay. I was introduced to her when she spoke on the Team Made call, Melissa McAllister's team. And I was blown away because she was speaking my language. And I'm sure a lot of you have watched many of her videos and training. She's amazing. So I'm going to pass it off to Shay.
Okay, let's see. Am I on? Just give me a thumbs up. I can't see. All I see Lauren. I don't even see me. That's okay. I'll look at Lauren. She's pretty to look at. So thank you guys very, very much. Man, Lauren, that was freaking amazing, girl. That was awesome. Woo, you can light a fire. That was incredible. So it's funny. So she's a physician, and we were laughing before the call because I'm a pharmaceutical rep, was a pharmaceutical rep, and I'm not your pharmaceutical rep to use her tagline. But in all seriousness, I did pharmaceutical sales for GlaxoSmithKline for 10 years, and I got to a point in my career where I could not stand behind the message I was sending to physicians and to patients, because I knew I was carrying around a bag of something that was just tweaking symptoms. It wasn't actually getting patients better. And I called on endocrinologists, which were diabetic physicians. And when you sit in a room full of people with end stage diabetes, and they've got retinopathy, and they're on dialysis, and they've got amputations, and just the whole comorbid gamut of issues that people have when they're diabetic. And I'm thinking, you know, if I had found these people 5 years earlier and could have taught them lifestyle changes to make a difference, that's what I need to be doing. And similar to Lauren, I paired with Beachbody because I just one day left the corporate America. That's a whole nother business call. But I left corporate America and I left the message, because we have to create a grassroots movement on educating people on how they can truly live a healthier life. And it's not just about the number on the scale. And so that's been my mission since joining Beachbody in 2011. So I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about the Ultimate Reset, specifically that, but I'm going to touch on some of the other products as well, just so you have kind of a snapshot on how amazingly sexy these products are. And I'm really excited because the Ultimate line, so the Ultimate line is what's in white. It's the products that really are truly back to the sourcing, and you're going to hear that a lot on the call, but it's the sourcing that matters. You can go to GNC, you can go to the grocery store, Target, and things say the same, but it's a totally different ballgame on where it's made and how it's sourced. And the Ultimate line is the purest line of sourcing that you can put in your body. So that's really what I want to focus on with you all tonight in the next 10, 15 minutes. So what I've done, instead of going through product and product, I want to talk about disease states, because a lot of times people don't really even know what they want. We get on the phone with them and they say, I just, have a lot of gut issues, or I'm going to the bathroom too much or not enough, or that's the language they speak to us as coaches. So what I want to do are give you some tools in our library of products that are not only going to serve your clients, but they're going to serve your volume. And at the end of the day, if you're wanting to make money and leave your pharmaceutical career, your teaching career, or whatever career you have, you can do it with integrity by serving your clients, but also knowing that you're putting amazing products that are truly going to help them, potentially. Disclaimer. Okay, so first, let's talk about gut health. How many of you, by a show of hands or in the thread or whatever, have heard the word gut health in the past year? What about the past 6 months? What about the past week? We hear it all the time. So I'm going to share with you some tools that we have to help these folks out. So first is Digestive Boost. It's in the Boost portfolio that we have. And now gut health is just not one dimensional. There's the synergistic effect that has to happen through different things, through probiotics and fiber and things like that. But the Digestive Boost is 5 different types of fiber. And I think fiber is one of those things that's so, we'll hear about calories and counting carbs and all these macronutrients. And I'm thinking, where's the fiber? How can you talk about carbs and leave out fiber? Because fiber is like Willy Wonka's golden ticket to your gut health and getting all the toxins out of your body so that your body can work and repair itself in the way it was designed to. It's not the carbs that are bad, it's the type of carbs and low fiber carbs. So Digestive Boost has five types of fiber. You think of diet pills. I know I've definitely taken diet pills. We've probably all talked to clients that have taken diet pills. There are 2 reasons why they take diet pills: is to give them energy and to fill them up so that they're not hungry, not fill them up, but make them feel like they're not hungry. So they don't eat. So they go to that 1,200 calories, to Lauren's point. Well, the irony is that fiber, if you talk about the earth, fiber is nature's natural appetite suppressant. It fills you up. The problem is most of us are only getting 4 to 5 grams of fiber a day. Women need a minimum of 25 grams a day, minimum. Men need 35 grams a day. And we're not even getting anywhere near that. And we're wondering why we're not satiated, why we're not full. So soluble fiber, they're soluble and insoluble. And I'm going to relate it to trash, the trash guy that comes and gets your trash at the end of your driveway. Soluble fiber binds to toxins. Think of it as like little suction things. And it binds to the toxins in your digestive tract and your gut, and it pulls them out. So it's like if you're getting rid of the toxins, you're getting rid of your trash, and you set it out by your drive and the trash guy doesn't come for 2 weeks, or let's say Christmas, and you got all that stuff out there. It's the soluble fiber that comes by and takes it away for you, out of your system. Because if that doesn't happen, it's still sitting there accumulating in your digestive tract. And you've got bloating, and you've got gases, and you've got all this other atmosphere inside of you that you don't want. So that's soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber fills you up. And if anyone has ever given their kid a bath and they put the little sponges that get really big, that's kind of what insoluble fiber does in your gut, not in your butt, in your gut. And what it does is it fills you up. So you've got these people taking diet pills that are putting strain on their heart and leaving them even more nutrient deficient. Whereas you can have fiber that's going to naturally fill you up and get all the toxins out of your body that's jamming up the process of your body healing. That's Digestive Boost. Are you all doing share carts right now? Because I hope so. We all need Digestive Boost and more fiber. One trick with fiber is if you're getting the 3 to 4 and you jump up to 25, you're going to have a really bad day. And the reason why is because if you've ever gone out for Mexican and had way too many beans, the gases will like really blow you and you'll hurt. You need to titrate up slowly so that you feel like over like a week to work your way up. Okay. Because I don't want you all eating like a ton of beans and drinking Digestive Boost and then messaging me tomorrow. All right. I told you. Okay. The next one, Soothe. Now, Soothe is part of the Ultimate Reset, and it's one that you typically take at night. And why Soothe is so brilliant, if you've heard any of my calls before, and I know Darren and Lauren both mentioned this, inflammation is the number one root to pretty much every single ailment you have. And Soothe is a massive anti-inflammatory, specifically for your digestive tract. So what's so brilliant about it is it's a perfect mix of aloe and turmeric. And I've got to say, when people ask me about the Ultimate Reset, they think there's some like weird supplements. And I'm like, I guarantee a lot of this stuff you've heard of. It's just really good sourced products, put it in the right formulation at the right time to give the effects that it gives. But it's literally turmeric and aloe. What I would love for you guys to do is, as a note on top of all your other notes, is just Pinterest. I don't even say Google, because Google I think overwhelms people. Just go to Pinterest, especially if you're visual, and type in benefits of turmeric. And you get all these pretty visuals and bullet points, and like in 30 seconds, you're going to be a genius. Like, it is amazing. Aloe does everything you're going to read that turmeric does. It does all that too. It's a great little like buddy to pair on with it. But aloe also helps with absorption. So to Lauren's point, the few minerals we're actually getting, if we're not absorbing them, it's a moot point. So aloe is going to help reducing inflammation so that you're actually absorbing the nutrients you're getting. Otherwise, they very much could be a waste. So that is Soothe, and that's one of the supplements you take at night to help with GI inflammation. The last one is Revitalize, and I really think Revitalize is the most underused supplement that we have, because I can't even tell you how many people are like, I'm taking a probiotic, or I'm eating Dannon yogurt. I'm getting probiotics. All Revitalize is a probiotic. But it's not just a probiotic. And I have a quick story to share about this one. Back when I started Beachbody and I was posting about things all the time, one of my old GI doctors saw my post, messages me, and he says, all right, Miss Smarty Pants, what kind of probiotic is in Shakeology? I'm like, oh, crap. I don't know. So I go get the bag. I'm like, I can't even pronounce this word. And so I spelled it out. And he goes, He goes, that's Bacillus coagulant. Okay. He goes, you understand how important that is? I'm really impressed that your company used it. No, but I'm going to tell you guys what he told me. Not all probiotics are created equal. In fact, every dry probiotic that is put into a formulation is not naturally encapsulated enough to even make it past the stomach acid. It doesn't have the integrity to even survive. So if the whole point of taking a probiotic is to get to your small intestine to grow the good flora, it's a moot point. You can take all the probiotics in the world, and if they're not there to do their job and making and surviving, who cares? So you've got all these people buying labels that say probiotics on their yogurt or whatever it is, and it's a moot point, because food companies know if they put that on there, you're going to buy it, not knowing better and thinking you're doing good by your gut. So they can have it there on the label. However, the one probiotic that's naturally encapsulated to sustain the stomach acid, make it to the small intestine, and grow the good flora and bacteria so that you get healthy and your digestive tract improves, is Bacillus coagulant. And you know why companies don't use it? It's frightfully expensive. And that's the one your company chose to use. So when people talk about price, let's just talk about the one probiotic in this bag of everything else that we chose to use so that you actually improve your gut health. We just don't slap it on the bag. So when you all have clients sharing about gut health, these three products are amazing ones to go to offer them and be able to share the benefits of them so that they can hopefully get on the journey and get some relief. Okay. Oh, I forgot about detox. Detox is part of the Ultimate Reset. It's basically the same as Digestive Boost, although it has chia seed in it. So it's got more protein in it with the chia seed, which is also a huge source of fiber. Where you want to use these is, so any of these, if basically for daily living, because everything is about gut health, let's face it, like the state of your health is the state of your gut health. But if you've got someone who's been on antibiotics, they need to restore their gut. Absolutely. If they have, just any type of gut issues, try finding a cocktail of these ingredients, if not all three, to give them relief. But just honestly, for ongoing gut health, these are an easy go-to source with integrity of ingredients that you can count on. So I'll leave it at that with gut health, and I'm going to move on to immune boosters. It's funny to speak about immune system when like everybody's with COVID and all these things and washing your hands. And I'm like, let's improve our immune system. Number one, doing that is your gut health. So there's an added benefit to gut health, but let's also talk about ways to improve your immune system. I did a call with Darren about a year ago, and I had so much respect for this one product. I think if somebody could afford anything, they need to afford this one, and it's Optimize. And it's the most expensive in the library of the Ultimate Reset if you're buying it separately. But Optimize is such a strong anti-inflammatory immune booster. It is actually, Darren used the analogy. You could have, if there's a construction site and all the trucks are coming in with the different supplies and all of that, Optimize is the superintendent that's orchestrating the whole thing so that they all work synergistically together. It pulls everything that you're eating and everything, it pulls it together and helps it work more efficiently. Optimize has Camu, which is 60 times more potent in vitamin C than an orange. And you've got these people out here thinking, oh, I'm going to take some, vitamin C supplements. And you think Optimize is an anti-inflammatory and it helps everything you put in your body work better. And it's 60 times more potent in vitamin C. Bromelain, the center part of the pineapple. I know these are really strange ingredients, guys. I know. Bromelain. I mean, these things are simple ingredients that have such powerful synergistic effects when you put them together. But bromelain really, really helps with inflammation. My daughter plays volleyball. She did a serve about 8 months ago, and she tore the muscles in her thumb. It took 6 weeks to heal. About a month, no, it was before COVID, so it was probably February. She did the exact same injury, and she started to cry because she's like, I don't have 6 weeks for this to heal. And so I literally, because there's no real maximum dose of Optimize you can take, I loaded her up with Optimize. And I kid you not, within 2 weeks, she was absolutely pain-free and back out serving again. Now, I'm not saying that's with everybody. I'm just sharing a story about my daughter, but the power of when you get anti-inflammatories on board, what they can do to help your body heal. So the second one is Power Greens. And Power Greens is part of the Ultimate Reset, but it's also part of the Boost. Power Greens, if you think of like a fish tank and the pH of a fish tank and you need a good ecosystem, it's basically the difference between an alkaline environment and an acidic. Just know that an acidic environment is where disease likes to grow and spread and really make itself at home. So the more you can pull your body over to an alkaline state, disease can't live in that world and will die off. And if you're taking fiber, the soluble fiber will bind to it and take it away. So Power Greens is really, really great. Obviously, if people don't like greens, but it's super powerful in just helping the whole ecosystem of your body work better. Okay. Who and how to use these products? Obviously, people who don't like greens, but if they also need an immune boosting supplement and overall wellness. I see people all the time reaching for airborne, as if. But if you just take low dose Optimize every day, you're really truly giving your body a fighting chance and keeping it sustained at a high immune rate. Okay, moving on to wellness. it's kind of a category I like threw the other ones in. Focused energy. In a world that is addicted to caffeine and really like pounding people's adrenals, focused energy is a great option because so in the pharmaceutical world, one of the things that we always really wanted people to appreciate is that when you take something, you don't want turbulence. So if you take a pill, you don't want sky high and then drop. And then you got to take another shot and then you're straight up and then you drop and you have these highs and lows. What you want is sustained, calm effects to where you're not all over the place with something you're taking. This is the same analogy with focused energy and caffeine. Instead of having these spikes where people are doing these energy shots and then, in this fight or flight mode and then dropping and then doing another, and they're up and down all day long, which long-term affects all their mood swings and just stress levels. Focused energy gives you that sustainability, that sustained energy throughout the day so that you're not going through all those highs and lows. Mineralize is also a great wellness product. And I have a lot of fun with this one because when I tell them it's pink Himalayan salt, they're like, sodium. And they think all salts are created equal. I see Lauren shaking her head. No, and they're not. And this is another one. I really want you to Pinterest the benefits of pink Himalayan salt, because I did it earlier and literally the list, I think there was like 30 things on the list. And if I say them, then compliance will call me. But if you look them up on Pinterest, I'm off the hook. So truly do that. Go to Pinterest and type it in, because pink Himalayan salt, I'll just give you a couple benefits. And it helps improve hydration. So you could drink water and still get cramps and get aches and pains and not have good circulation. And among the many other things, it actually helps the cells uptake the minerals so that you don't cramp and that you feel better and that your body is actually getting hydrated as opposed to it just kind of going right through you. So Mineralize is phenomenal. But here's the thing. And I asked Darren this one time. I said, look, people can go to Marshall's and get pink Himalayan salt. And he said, that's the difference in where it's sourced, because you don't know what salt mines it's coming from, what other minerals are in those mines, what it's being harvested, off the walls with, what it's going through, what heavy metals it's being exposed to. You don't know any of that. With the Beachbody Ultimate Reset Mineralize, you're getting something pure that's not been exposed to anything else. It's of the highest quality. So that is a really good sourcing point to make, because something that seems so simple could also not be. Okay, real quick, I'm going to do the performance line. Number one, because it's not an ultimate line. And I think most of you guys know about the performance line. Hydrate, kind of the same effects of Mineralize, has the electrolytes and stuff like that. I typically offer Hydrate as a clean version of Gatorade. Simple, done, call it a day. Recharge, I typically position Recharge for sleep, muscle aches, things like that. And of course, all of these products are so much better than what they'll find at GNC. So leveraging them in that regard. Okay, Jamie had asked me to share with how I kind of position these in a sales perspective. And what I think is one of the most beautiful things about Jessica and Lauren both is you can know all the science, but if you don't know how to share it, it's a moot point. And so what these ladies have done is not only are they bringing this science from their professions to you, but they're also sharing tips on how to actually present it. And as much science as Darren has, Darren's not trained in sales. And these girls have a reputation. I think all of us here speaking tonight to you have reputations of how to share these products. So I'm going to share you a couple tips and then I'm going to wrap it up. Obviously, where to use these products. They all work best synergistically. So it's not necessarily like just this one or just that one. That's what's so great about Shakeology is it has it doesn't have the performance line, but it has these main ingredients at very low doses so that your body gets better day in and day out, as opposed to these loaded doses that your body really just can't metabolize because it's too much. So they all work synergistically together, but you can add on and kind of cocktail different options with your Shakeology or by itself based on what someone needs. So again, I mentioned Pinterest. Literally go to Pinterest and type in benefits of, and don't type in optimize or what Beachbody calls it. Look at the back and look at the ingredients section. And this goes with non-Beachbody products as well. Look at the ingredients section and pick something and then just Pinterest it. What I like about Pinterest with my team is it's visual, it's easy. They're not like reading all these documents it's just shortened to the point. So I think about back in my day, I'm 47 years old. Back in my day, when I wanted to research something, I had to put on my backpack. I had to walk across to the library. Then I had to go to the library and go through what was called a card catalog, then get the microfiche and then maybe scan through just to find, and then maybe cross-reference. I mean, and that was if I knew the Dewey Decimal System and where it was in the library. And then I had to ask some lady when y'all say you don't have the resources to Pinterest something, it kind of rubs me the wrong way and triggers me, because literally you guys have the best products at your fingertips and can do this stoplight school, like literally at 30 to 60 seconds at a stoplight. You can Pinterest an ingredient, get inspiration on how to post it, write what is really cool to you about that ingredient as a post. Don't overthink it. It's literally as simple as that. You don't have to go deal with a card catalog. Half of y'all don't even probably know what that is. All you got to know is Pinterest. And I guarantee you got Pinterest. Okay. The more you do that, the more you're going to add value. Everything we do is about adding value. It's not about you. It's about what it means to them. So when you make a post, ask yourself, what does this mean to them? How is this benefiting them? And then tell them. And if you think more, it's always about them and how do I add value? And Amy's going to do an incredible job with sharing posts with you guys on how to pull these things through. I'm just going to give you the concepts, but this is how you need to think to give value so that people understand how amazing these products are. And I'm going to leave this with one. This is my closing thing. And I said this on a team call last week. We look around at these other companies and they have such crappy products, and you see people making ridiculous money and doing amazing things, and you're like, they have such crappy products. Maybe I should go over there, right? You see all the people wanting to jump ship and go over there because their products are better, and they're not. We have truly the best products on the market. And here's the thing I need all of you to remember. It's not the horse, it's the jockey. And every single one of you can get on the horse and fricking ride that horse and be a winner. And you're seeing other people in other companies get on fricking donkeys and doing well. And know that we don't have a donkey to get on. We've got a freaking thoroughbred, and we're all walking around scratching our head and going, I don't know how to present it. I'm just going to do this. And man, it's such a sophisticated line of freaking thoroughbred of products that's like nobody can touch. Nobody can come up to us with an objection and we're like scratching our butts because we have bulletproof products. And we're riding these products like they're freaking donkeys. And you guys got to get on the freaking thoroughbred, know you're riding a thoroughbred, and then just take your business to the next level. The only thing holding you back is the way you're riding that horse. These are amazing products. I hope I have inspired you to just buy everything in the catalog and teach your team to do the same, because that's where volume comes in and that's where we change lives. Have a great night. Thank you, guys.
We're all giving like standing ovations over here because that was amazing. Amy, you are up next. If you are ready, we're going to transition y'all and piggyback off of where Shay teed us up, and let's talk about how we talk about this on social media. And
Okay.
No one is better equipped to talk about this than
how do I do the slides?
I'm going to share the screen.
Okay. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but while Shay was talking, I went and I ordered Power Greens, and I went and I ordered Digestive Boost. These are things that I ran out of, and I was like, oh my God, I need to get back on them. I am 33 weeks pregnant and I'm a huge supplementer. The hardest part about being pregnant for me is having to cut down some of the stuff that I usually dose up on. And so I am so excited to have this baby so I can get back on the Optimize and get back on everything. And let me tell you, if you're like, your ears were perking up during this call and you're like, this is so interesting, I want you to explore that, because I will tell you, I started drinking Shakeology 9.5 years ago, and Shakeology was my first introduction into this world, this holistic world. Like, I had heard about it before. Nutrition, I always kind of intrinsically knew what was healthy, what wasn't healthy, but I didn't really understand what it meant to heal the way that you can heal from foods and exercise and mental, like the mental work we do as coaches and all the things we do on the inside to help us with our lives. And I'm sure you guys have all experienced this, which is why you're coaches, that you want people, like, you want to scream from the rooftops how much you love Shakeology. Like, Shakeology is why I became a coach, because within 2 weeks, I felt so incredible, a way that I had never felt before. And I wanted everybody to drink it. And I would message people and I would send them these paragraphs. And this is back in 2012. So back in 2012, I just want to say, these conversations that you're hearing and this education that is so readily available to you, this Pinteresting of like holistic, like everybody knows about, these are all like words, like Darren said, like back in the day, Beachbody was the first company to start this. And now everybody is a know-it-all. Everybody knows all the things. Everybody is just very opinionated about, what you should be eating, what you shouldn't be eating. And when I go back to 2012, and I remember the conversations where I would have to explain what a processed food was, what a superfood was, the difference between table salt and, pink Himalayan salt, and trying to educate people on why Shakeology was so important to introduce into their diets, and how different those conversations are now, because everybody's tried something. Like Shay said, like there's like, you walk into GNC and like Darren said, you walk into GNC, there's all these products and they're all claiming the same thing. And people that don't understand the way Beachbody is and don't understand the processes Shakeology goes through, look at Beachbody and they look at what we do and they put everybody in the same category. And it's been a really interesting journey to watch over the last almost 10 years of where the health movement industry has gone, and to start seeing superfoods on the shelf. And what's interesting is that when I would go to Whole Foods before I could actually afford to shop at Whole Foods, so I just go to Whole Foods just to like buy olives or something, and I would see a bag of maca powder on the shelf, and one bag of maca powder would be almost $20. And I started to see all of the ingredients in Shakeology, and I was like, wow, like this is crazy. This is crazy that like I get to have access to this amazing blend of superfoods, and that I get to drink it in a way that's super delicious. I was just drinking mine, and I'm a chocolate girl, and that, we have access to this. And so I really hope that you start to explore this more. And, everybody that spoke here for the most part pretty much has like some sort of a background in holistic health. And I personally went and got a living food certification at the Ann Wigmore Institute when I lived in Puerto Rico. And I learned all about living foods because I was so nerdy about Shakeology and the living foods and like what that means for our bodies. And so the more you know, the more confident you will feel. And honestly, like it's a lifelong journey. Like, and I am a forgetful person, so I'll forget about things and I'll remember them and I'll relearn them. And it's just like constantly for me, so exciting. So I want to talk to you about social media, because social media, and now we're going to take a completely this conversation is gonna take a 100% like total like twist to the other side, because everything we've been talking about right now has been about nutrition and holistic health and very informational. And now I kind of want to go over to like the marketing and sales part of being a coach and having a platform where, yes, we want to educate people, but we don't want to talk at people. We don't want to also be those know-it-alls that act like they know everything or know what you're talking about, but you're inviting a lot of controversy by the way you're talking. You also, want to make sure that on your social media that you are still leading with you, because at the end of the day, if all you do is talk about ingredients in Shakeology, I don't know that very many people are going to stick around and listen to you. We live in a very visual world right now, especially with Instagram leading the charge. It's a very human-led industry where people want to see your face and your body, not this in their face. They don't want to see this in their face. They don't want to see, product in their face. And honestly, like, one of the best feedback I ever got when I was a new coach was from my best friend that I've been best friends since second grade. And I was that Beachbody coach that was like, screaming from the rooftops, everybody's got to do this. And she was like, I love your passion. I think that you have great results. I appreciate how much you love this Shakeology stuff. She's like, but I am a sour cream out of the can kind of girl. I remember growing up with her, she would eat like onion dip out of like it's a Frankenfood. It was like, you didn't even refrigerate it. And I never saw that stuff growing up because I grew up in a natural health household. And so I go to her house and there'd be all of these like unrefrigerated edible foods. And she's like, I like a burger. Like she was, she's straight up just like, I don't understand anything you're talking about and I don't get it and I'm not into it. And she's like, I feel like, but she's a very smart girl. And so she knows what I'm trying to do. So she was like, did you ever consider maybe talk about other things instead of just, Beachbody all the time? And that was like a huge wake up call for me, because I was like, she's like, she helped me understand that like, I need to help everybody, not just people who are interested in health. And so that's where I've really learned how to take my personal brand and make it more just about being me. And part of me is that I drink Shakeology, and I have for 9.5 years. And if anybody asks me, questions about my health or why this or why that, I can say, well, I really do believe this is a big part of that. And it's my story. And I've learned how to really just, to bring it into my social media and, have one of the highest sales in the company, but you'll never hear me talking about it the way that you hear, Shay talk about it or Lauren talk about it, simply because that didn't work for the people that I was aiming to help and for the people that I really wanted to touch. And that was the people who don't understand all of this stuff, and it's over their head and it's really overwhelming, and they just want to lose weight. And then maybe I can help them bridge the gap from just like wanting to lose weight to learning about holistic health. And so my groups are all about leading people through a wellness journey and helping them to learn what their own individuality needs. And I truly believe that unless you're allergic to something in Shakeology, everybody should be drinking it. And so these are my own personal do's and don'ts. This is all my personal stuff. This is just how I personally do things. You're going to see different coaches do it in so many different ways. And however it speaks to you, I want you to be inspired by that. There is no right or wrong way to do this. This is just how over the last 9.5 years of learning how to take my excitement and my energy and my nerdiness for nutrition and bringing it to like a level where it's more received and digestible for people who may not be there yet. So I can like sneakily get them to that point, like I can get them in and be like, holistic health, look at all the things that, your body can do, and kind of lead them on that journey. So these are my personal do's and don'ts. I'm really not a gimmicky person. The only time you'll hear me really talk about like, you know, like plugging something like for example, the caramel salted Shakeology. You guys will hear coaches say, don't use the product names. Don't be salesy. But with something like caramel salted Shakeology, it's going to sell out. So I was like, if you want to try my superfoods and this caramel salted flavor and you want to make a swap, you know, and you're looking to make just one swap this summer that could change your, you know, your health, but you also like don't want to give up the caramel salted, you know, Starbucks drink or whatever, like try this, just try it. And so I was very straightforward when it came to that. Something like an MBF launch, I'm going to be very straightforward with that. But 90% of the time, I'm going to be leading with my results and my story and how what I personally get out of it. And I don't feel that it's gimmicky because it's, you know, maybe once a quarter when we have a launch, or maybe once a year when we have now we have limited edition flavors a couple times a year. So you can try this out with the next limited edition flavor and talk a little bit about what you learned today and try it on for size and see how it works for you. So one thing too that I used to do and that I see a lot of coaches doing is they'll copy what unsuccessful coaches are doing. So they'll see something and they'll be like, that looks good, or that person has a good response, and they'll copy and paste it. And then I'll see it all over the place. And it's like, it's not good. It's really like really gimmicky and really salesy. But they saw somebody else get good traction with it. So they're like, well, that got good traction, so I'm going to copy and paste this. Don't do that. Just because somebody's having engagement on their post doesn't mean that they are being successful in their endeavors. Okay. So remember that like, this is not a copy and paste business in that sense. Like this is a very much lead with you, and don't like get frenzied when you see something seemingly doing well for somebody else, because sometimes you can feel like you're like FOMO and late to the party. And you just got to take a chill pill and just be like, okay, let me sit back and look at how this might be received by my audience, because you probably have two completely different kinds of people following you. So like I saw somebody share like something when COVID started, something about like, it was like dissing gyms and like elevating Beachbody. And I was like, absolutely not, take that down. But it had like circulated so fast. I was like, what are you guys thinking? And, you know, I pissed off a couple people, but I was just like, this is not cool. You know, just because people think it's funny doesn't mean it's okay to post, you know, so take it down. So that's one example where I was like, absolutely not. That is so bad. That is not the kind of company we are. And then, so the next thing is, share it like you'd share anything else. So if you go on my feed, so I was going through my feed trying to find examples for you guys. And I realized that like, I probably share Shakeology just as much as I would share a plate of food. Not very often. I'm not the kind of person that's posting food on my feed all the time. They're like, for me, 400 likes is very low. People do not love food on my feed. And so I throw it in every so often just to remind people that I eat food and that I like food. And, you know, food is a big part of my life, but that's usually products that I eat. And it's food that I eat is usually reserved for my stories. So I really like my feed to be more about me and my stories to be more about what I do behind the scenes to be me. And to be me, I eat healthy, and I am a huge advocate for supplementation. And if you watch my stories, you know that. So I keep my feed more about me, and I keep my stories more about what makes me me. And then the next thing is, but do own the fact that you do drink it every day. So whether it's in a boomerang, if you go to my Instagram stories, I have a boomerang of me drinking it right here in this chair with my baby bump. Very much try to remember to do it every day. I'm not perfect, and I'm not that person that's you go out to lunch with and is taking pictures of their food. You know, like I'm just not that person. So to remember to like gram my food and to gram my drinks and to gram everything I'm doing is not easy for me because I'm not always gramming. So I just really try to get in at least one a day, whether it's my Energize or my Shakeology or a Power Green shot or whatever it is. I just try to get in at least one boomy at least a day. And I really try to make it a point to share at least one thing I'm eating, even though I don't find it that interesting. People want to know these things. The next thing is, do share why you love it so much. So, you know, when I'm feeling really passionate about my Shakeology, which, to be honest with you guys, I've been drinking Shakeology for 9.5 years. I don't get passionate about it every day. I don't drink it and I'm like, this is amazing, oh my God. And I'm not going to act like that on my Instagram because it's like weird and it's totally not real. But sometimes I'll be on a call like this and I'll get fired up and I'll be like, oh yeah, I went to, you know, Ann Wigmore's Institute. I lived off of only living foods for 2 weeks. That was wild. I want to talk about that and talk about how, you know, I learned about the different degrees in which things are dehydrated to hold its living foods value, and how I bought a giant dehydrator, and that's why I love Shakeology. Like sometimes I'll go on a rant like that and some people will eat it up and some people will be like, swipe. So it just depends on when it comes naturally to me and when I feel called to do it. You know, that goes with everything in my life, you know, especially right now in the season that we're in right now, in this world and in history. Activism has been really called to our attention, and I feel really called to be more vocal about that, but I'm not going to do it unless I feel something passionately calls me to do it and, you know, talks about it. I'm not going to do it just because I'm supposed to, just like I'm supposed to talk about Shakeology every day. I'm not going to be a robot. I'm not going to talk about other things I'm passionate about, like, you know, ocean preservation every single day, because when you talk about things like that every single day, you lose people because people want to keep it light for the most part. So I really try to have that kind of attitude when it comes to, you know, things that I'm eating and drinking too, because I understand that people don't want to hear that stuff every single day. So I try to keep my content moving and I try to keep it real to what I'm actually going through and living that day. Next thing is get creative. This picture I chose because I want you to have fun with your Shakeology. I want you to go buy some mason jars. I want you to go make it pretty. My team loves to put like coconut whipped cream, which I'm like, I call them on sometimes. I'm like, do you drink coconut whipped cream with your shake every day? Because I don't know if you can do that, but they do. And they'll like put stuff on it and they'll have like this decadent, beautiful thing in their stories. And it makes me want to drink it. But, you know, I will probably not do that because I will not take the time to do that, but I will throw it in a mason jar and I will hold it up with my, you know, my outfit that I will take time on. I love fashion and I will make my shake part of my outfit and I will, you know, use it as part of the props that I'm using for my photo. It's almost like I'm staging some sort of a fashion shoot or some sort of a product shoot, but it's really just my daily life. So I really try to have fun with colors and have fun with whatever I have around, and especially in the examples I'll be showing you. So take the stage. I have the attitude that my social media, I am the art director. I am the model. I am the director. I am the photographer. I am the editor. I am the creative director. I am the cinematographer. I'm everything. Can you tell I went to school for this? I take my Instagram very seriously when it comes to the fact that I am telling a story, and a good ad tells a story. How many of you guys watch, you know, for example, Super Bowl or, you know, I don't know, Macy's Day Parade, and they have these commercials that make you cry. Like, there's a reason why that they are so good, and it's because they relate to you. And so for me, I really try to make my photos and my imagery relatable, and I really try to incorporate what I'm drinking on a daily basis. Keep it natural, add it in as a prop. Again, it's with you, it's not you, it's not and there will be some pictures where I'm only showing Shakeology, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when you do make it center stage, talk about something else. Let them ask the questions, and I'll do those examples. So we can move to the examples so that Jessica can go. And if you're still on this call, I want you to comment below that you've been on this call the entire time and give yourself some props, because this is informational. This takes some dedication. Okay. All right, so this is a perfect example. So this is the mason jar that I love to put my shakes in mason jars. And I made it front and center stage. Like the shake is the main part of my shot, but I don't talk about it at all in my post. This post is more about, being a great salesperson. How many of you guys would talk about that publicly? Probably not. It's about how I've always been a great salesperson. How even when I was a waitress, I would run circles around, everybody else in the restaurant. I always left with the highest paychecks. There's nothing wrong with talking about that kind of stuff. I've always loved to be a hard worker. I didn't talk about the nutrition in this post. I talked about the business. And so it's really interesting where people are like, how do you talk about the business? And it's like, well, you just talk about yourself, talk about your hustle, talk about where you come from, talk about the kind of person you are. But I made my shake my front and center object. And of course, somebody says, what's in the smoothie? And I didn't have to talk about the smoothie. In fact, nobody even probably read what I wrote. They're just like, what's in the smoothie? That looks amazing. And then I would take that to a private conversation. So, this is just a really unique way that I have chosen to elevate myself as a business mentor without doing it in a way that feels unauthentic to me. Okay, we can go to the next slide. All right, here's another example of me. And let me just say, guys, I had to really look for these examples. These two examples probably were like 6 months apart, maybe even a year apart. So I don't do this often, but I do it every once in a while to remind people who don't watch my stories that this is a part of my life as well. And it's something that I do enjoy. So Breakfast of Champions. And then I mentioned my breakfast, but then I went on to talk about my job. And I went to talk on about my house and working from home and doing laundry and just like my lifestyle. And of course, people are asking about Beachbody in the comments. I don't even have to talk about Beachbody because I'm showing Beachbody. So what I really try to do is with my visuals to show what I do and then talk about something else. Talk about something else that is more, I don't know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, this is the Breakfast of Champions. It has ashwagandha and is sourced from the rainforest. And did you know that all of our ingredients directly help a farmer and all this stuff? I am not gonna, that's if people are gonna be like, what? It's just for the most part, the people that I try to attract don't drink this kind of stuff. They don't know about this kind of stuff. I want to get it in them. I want them drinking it, And so I talk more about working from home and being laid back and whatever like that. So I hope this is making sense to you guys. You can ask questions in the comments. I see your feed if a question is coming up and you're like, I don't understand what you're saying. But I feel like it's pretty apparent. You put the visual of the thing that you want people to know about, so you can have those private conversations in the background, but you don't talk about it on your feed necessarily because it builds curiosity and it makes them want to inquire more. And I feel like if I can just send somebody a voice message and talk to them in DM, I can have such a better conversation with them than trying to explain everything that I'm drinking on a post that honestly people don't really enjoy anyway. They don't really love these posts from me. So I don't get a lot of traction on them. Okay, keep going. All right. So this is my first pregnancy. I'm currently pregnant again. I'm 33 weeks and this is my first pregnancy. And so I did a pregnancy check-in. Again, all I did was talk about my pregnancy and I used my Shakeology as a prop because for me, I like to more lead with me. And I'm just going to show people that it's part of my lifestyle, just like I would, show them that anything is part of my lifestyle that I'm always using, whether it's my skincare or my hair care or whatever. I'm not going to constantly be talking about everything that I'm drinking and eating. For me, that would just not work for me. And again, everybody does this differently. I'm not saying this is wrong or bad or whatever. I'm just saying you have to really think about how something would speak to you. And for me, I'm going to be more attracted to the girl. I'm not going to be attracted to the product that she's using. If I actually have a friend that is, she's an athlete and she sells products nonstop on her gram and people love it. And I don't understand how it's successful, but she's always posing with like her flex muscles and her product. And I'm not sure if she's selling it. I mean, she has a lot of followers. I don't know how much money she's actually making. I don't know if it's working for her, but I'm always in like, I'm just like, that really works. Like, I just would never, I would never be like, oh, you take that, I'm going to go buy it from you. Like, I feel like I need to be connected to the person in order to trust them, in order to want what they're having. I feel like the best thing that we can do to inspire people to want to be invited into our lifestyle is us. And being proof the product works, I've always led with the vital behaviors. And so, especially on my social media, I lead with the vital behaviors, and that's being proof the product works. Okay, next. And this is probably the only time that you'll see me with a shaker cup in the last 3 years on my Instagram. But this was a straight up like inquiry as to, do I drink my Shakeology still? And so I just went hard with this one. And I was just like, yeah, my daily dense superfoods, do you still drink it when you're pregnant? And then, you know, and then I just went on. I'm like, what about all the other questions you should be asking me? Like fast food. Do you still eat fried food? Do you still eat table salt? Do you still eat high fructose corn syrup? Do you still eat sugar? Do you still eat preservatives? Do you still eat food coloring? Do you still, what about enriched bleached foods? Like, nobody ever asks a pregnant person, are you still drinking Diet Coke? But yet they're so interested in like, are you still drinking Shakeology? It's mind blowing to me. And so I did a direct post, just like straight up, like, yeah, I'm drinking it. Duh, I'm drinking it. And I will continue to drink it, you know, every single day, pregnant, postpartum, and did throughout my last pregnancy. And of course, always consult your doctor. This is something that is a personal decision, and that obviously like you need to consult your healthcare and your OB provider. But for me, it's a no-brainer. And so I did a straight up like post, like, yeah, of course I'm drinking it. But that I don't do that often. It was just kind of like a reminder post for people who may have been following me for a long time. Are there any other examples? One more. Okay. And then this one, I'm talking about my green superfood smoothie, and I mention it and I show it, but then I go on and talk about my day. So again, like, I talk about being a coach in this one. I need a disclaimer on that. That's probably not a good example. Beachbody is not guaranteeing level of success. Any success you have is based off your own diligence, skill, and hard work. I need to go and edit this post and add a disclaimer. I just read that. Take it off. But anyway, you guys get the point. Is that my last slide? Okay, cool. Thank you so much, you guys.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay. We are wrapping up, you guys. Huge kudos to you for being on here. This has been so much fun and so powerful, right? Like, who is so stoked about the lives that we are changing? I will continue the disclaimers. Lauren said she's not your doctor. Shay said she's not your pharmaceutical rep. And I am not your nurse. We are not here to provide any kind of health advice to you. We're just explaining how we see things. So I became a registered nurse. I decided I was getting into the medical field when I was 11. And I'm sharing this really briefly with you because preventing people from suffering is deeply, deeply rooted in who I am. And it's why I'm here, a part of Team Beachbody. We all come into this business for different reasons, but what we have to offer is the same. It is so freaking powerful. And I hope that you know that. So I was actually on my 11th birthday hit by a drunk driver, me and my dad. I was knocked unconscious, put on life support, and in a coma for a year. I had 5 reconstructive surgeries on my leg to piece it back together, essentially. And my dad ended up passing away from consequences from that accident and from medical malpractice. And I have other stories where I go deeper into the details of that. But I knew that I had a choice at that moment in my life, that I was going to be a victim of my circumstances, or I was going to do something. And I don't know how at 11, I was like, you know what? I am going to walk again, even though they're telling me that I can't. I am going to play Olympic softball, which I didn't. But even though they told me that I'll probably never pitch again, that's actually, we were coming home from softball practice that night. I'm an extremely stubborn person. And that is kind of what drove me into nursing school. And then I got into nursing school, had a lot of health problems, and realized I wasn't, all the specialists couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So I dove more into nutrition and homeopathy and herbology and Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine and all these different nutritional things. And my mind was blown. And I started to see the anatomy and physiology of our bodies come together in my mind, and how important foundational health is when it comes to preventable lifestyle diseases, right? Like what we have to offer you guys, the foundational approach that we have with fitness and nutrition and supplementation and mental emotional support and coaching and community, that is essential for us all to thrive. And I still have never found a one-stop shop of any company, of any resource that provides that for people, but we do. That's freaking amazing. So be so proud that you are part of Team Beachbody. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I personally see specifically Shakeology, and how I share the value and develop that passion within challenge groups. So step number 1, I am a firm believer that every coach's responsibility is to know about the 5 blends in Shakeology. So if you don't yet, learn about them. And this is not anything I made up, you guys. It's literally on the back of your bag. It is separated by bullet points right there. If you can't, well, my video is probably super small. Look on the back of your bag. Look on the label. Look on there and see, when people say they don't want to buy Shakeology because it's an overpriced protein, in my mind, that's my responsibility to fix that. They just don't understand it. And so what if we started understanding ourselves? This is actually 5 blends in one serving, 30-day supply. We're going to get into how I kibosh every single price objection as well. But this is the beginning. Start with just looking and knowing that there are 5 blends within Shakeology. You'll find it on our website. You'll find it on the back of the bag. This is not anything I'm making up. This is not verbiage of my own. It is what we have to offer. And I don't think that we talk about it enough, to be honest. So know that, will you go to the next slide for me, James? Know that this is just like a simpler way of seeing it. 5 different parts or aspects or elements to Shakeology. I don't know this because I'm a nurse. I don't know this because I have any kind of background or certification. I just know it because I read. So this is all something that I hope that you all walk away and go look at. Yes, and Lauren taught us Papa G on the National Wake Up Call. So it's another amazing acronym to learn about these things and be able to articulate it. That is it. 5 formulas. So really briefly, so you know, like our clean protein blend, amazing that it's a blend. Beachbody could have just put rice protein in there, but they didn't, right? You'll read on our website that it actually has a complete amino acid profile. That's really something to be proud of. That's something that sets us apart. Instead of just whey protein, instead of just pea protein, we have a blend of different plant-based proteins, which is amazing. Look into the super greens. You guys, I'm super nerdy. Like, I like to understand things. It actually sometimes drives my husband crazy because I ask why all the time. Like, oh, why are you pouring the concrete that way? It's like, I just want to understand why things are happening. And so I wanted to understand why Shakeology was different. And if you have that, just like everyone has said, if you have that intrigue or that interest of like, why is this so different? Start researching it. Start looking up. I took 6 months, you guys, and I looked up every single ingredient in Shakeology. I didn't just Google it just because of how my brain works. I wanted to look at medical research and journals, and obviously don't take anything out of context, but I just wanted to know for myself, what is really in here? How cool is it? And if you struggle with confidence in talking about Shakeology or any of our products, do that. Take it upon yourself to build your confidence. I promise you, your passion is going to go through the roof. And guess what? That is contagious. People are magnetized to other people who are confident and passionate about what they're doing to help other people. So super greens, super fruits, antioxidants, adaptogens, and we have gut health all in every serving. I just squeeze powder all over the place. But like, know this, walk away from this 2.5 hour call and know that there's 5 different things. Okay, go ahead and go to the next slide for me. So step number 2, now that you know that, I actually have found that when you establish value before you even start working with someone, it really helps retention. It really helps them stick to it. And so my brain has been trained, like, what do I want to do? And this is something I hope that we all do, right? We don't ever want to be someone that pushes a product or a solution at someone when we don't even know what they need. So if someone's ever interested in working with me, I'm not going to say, yeah, you should totally get this challenge pack without ever saying, I'd love to know more about you. Let me ask you a few questions. What are your biggest struggles to being successful? What are your goals? This is the way I like to word this question. If you could, like, what does the best version of yourself look like 30 to 90 days from now? If failure's off the table, tell me what that looks like. Is it 20 pounds lighter? Your energy, your digestion is better, your stress? I want to learn about what their biggest struggles are, because then I understand that, and I can communicate and match this product that I have to them and what they need, right? And so I highly recommend that you get really good at asking questions, whether you're a new coach or a vintage coach. Just start getting really good at asking questions so you can identify what they need. And in doing so, you yourself look like more of a professional rather than a product pusher, right? You are saying, I care about you. Tell me what you need. And here's what I can bring to the table. We have the total solution in the challenge pack, right? That's incredible. It's not out there, you guys. It does not exist. You can go get a personal trainer. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're missing all the other things that we have to offer. You can go work with a nutritionist, which is amazing, but you still are missing all the other things that we have to offer. What we have to offer is so powerful. Okay, so connect the benefits of Shakeology that you learn when you do your Pinterest research, right? When you start looking up these ingredients for yourself and you're like, wow, I had no idea about chaga. Wow, I had no idea about these different super greens that we have. That's so cool. And then all you say is, hey, you know what I just learned about stress, because I've been really stressed out myself, and I see you're a mom of 5, or you work 80 hours or whatever. I just learned about adaptogens. Have you ever heard of them? And then you just have a conversation, right? And it's not being salesy or gimmicky, just like Amy was talking about. Like, that's the last thing we want to do. We are here to serve people and change people's lives. That's what our company is about. That's the whole mission statement. And that's what we do as coaches. So that's step number 2. Before people come in, establish that value and say, you know what, I want you to commit to drinking this for 90 days every day. And let's see how it goes. And then go ahead and go to the next one. And then step number 3, in your challenge groups, you're going to continue to develop that passion, and it's going to help increase retention. And again, when you don't understand, just like with our business and coaching, when you don't have a connection with why you're doing something, then most people fall off. When they don't have that connection with the vision of why they're putting in the hard work, they're not going to keep going. And I am a firm believer that the same is true in our challenge groups. The same is true in our products that we offer people. If they don't understand why they're drinking Shakeology and they only think they're doing it just for weight loss or just because it's supposed to taste really good, and then you're going to get those objections. Well, I just mixed my Shakeology with lukewarm water and 6 ounces, and it tasted really bad, and it didn't really do anything. Well, obviously, because they're thinking that they're just drinking it for the taste. And you're like, do you know how many people go drink nasty shots of vodka or wheatgrass shots or whatever, and they do it for what? The effects, right? So teach people that they're doing this for the effects, for the long-term effects. hey, I really want to help support you to be the best version of yourself. This is a great way to do it. And I know that it's really important to you to lose these 100 pounds so you can run around with your kids. Let me support you in that, right? And then we're reconnecting them with that vision and with that why. So number one, educating power products in our groups. I wanted to say this because it's so surprising to me that so many coaches don't know there's clinical trials with Shakeology. I think there's 3 now, but there's clinical trials not only with Shakeology, with the Ultimate Reset, with Energize, and with Recover. I might be missing some, but those are the ones I know of for sure. Go to, I have it here, the Beachbody Science page. Literally Google it. It's amazing what you'll find on Google when you use it. Go to the Beachbody Science page and you'll see a bunch of resources, and share those in your challenge groups. People like science. I mean, not everybody, but there's a lot of people that trust that trust something more when they can have a double-blind placebo clinical trial showing the effect of what they're doing. They'll value it more, and then they won't object to it as much because they know why they're doing it. Talk about the 5 blends. Maybe you take 5 days and you talk about each of the different parts of Shakeology, and you just list out the ingredients. And maybe you do something fun in your challenge group that's like, hey, everyone pick an ingredient. Let's all go look it up and let's see what we learn together. Like, that can be so empowering for people to understand the power of what we're drinking every single day. And then I have price breakdown here. And when I was doing my first presentation on Shakeology a while ago, it clicked in my brain. I used to buy all these things separately. I used to buy all the supplements separately. I used to buy the superfood separately. I spent between $300 and $400 a month. So I never thought Shakeology was expensive. So if you look at it, if $129, right, for a customer to purchase Shakeology, and we have 5 different blends that people buy separately, if you divide that price by 5, it's only $25.80 per formula. And bring in all the testing, right? For a 30-day supply, don't ever forget to look at what servings of products are when you're comparing them. That's tested 1,500 plus times, every single batch. That's high quality. It's tested for all these heavy metals and stuff. It does not exist. And then you have our coach account. It breaks it down to $19.40 per formula that's in Shakeology. That's mind blowing. You couldn't go to I'm not trying not to say like names of things. You couldn't go to a cheap grocery store and find a cheap, horrible quality protein that's going to last you 30 days for only $19.40. So we have to stop buying into this idea that it's expensive. It is the opposite. It is the most inexpensive, powerful superfood thing that you're going to find. And then include testimonials in your challenge groups. They're all over the internet if you're a brand new coach. They're all over the Beachbody On Demand blog. Include them and help people increase their belief. You guys, what we have to offer is a transformation solution, a transformative process for people. Speak to that. Help them breathe belief into them in your challenge groups, and it will really help, I promise. And then be a product of the benefits. And Amy I'm not going to go over this again because she was so great on that. And just sharing, like, why are you thankful for Shakeology? How has it helped you be a product of the product on your social media and in your challenge groups? And then constantly ask for feedback, updates from people on how they're doing and what questions that they have. I have found that so many people, they will let their Shakeology stock up and they'll have like 5 in their pantry. And they're like, I don't think it's really helping me. And I'm like, well, duh. Like, you haven't put it in your body. It doesn't work unless you put it in your body. And so really try to stay connected with your people and ask them, is it like, what's working? What's not? Send them recipes. These are all ways that we can help people understand more about why they're doing it, why it's so important to stay consistent, and how it really could connect with them being the best version of themselves. Because as coaches, that is our mission. We are problem solvers. We are life changers. And you guys, we are making a generational impact. Kids' lives are being changed because you are doing the work. Literally, kids' lives are being changed. That is so powerful. People are out there praying right now, especially in our broken world, for what you have to offer. They are lonely and depressed and anxious, and do not let the fear of judgment or the fear of a live video, the fear of whatever, get in your way of helping those people, because they need you to show up. And you have a specific circle of influence for a reason. So do not let, like, really, really take this seriously, this responsibility that you have at your fingertips. Okay, back to you, Jamie.
I'm just like, my mouth is open. Actually, I'm going to skip that. And we're going to, you guys, CEO hats on firmly, right? Can you stick with me for 5-10 more minutes? I know we're right at the edge of time. We took the advantage of keeping Darren on a little longer so we could dig into his brain. So, but we want to end with talking about retention, right? It's great if you can bring people on, but what if they just left after the first month? What if they didn't give that 90 days to really see these products impact their health and make them feel better and help them reach their goals? The connective tissue between getting them in and keeping them and retaining them is you. CEO hat on, it's customer service, it's leadership, it's education. And what I want to dig into is what Ruth Schroner and I kind of created as like the Shakeology vital behaviors. And it's in a Google Doc here. Oops, that's not the right Google Doc. I can't see them there. There you go. This is the right Google Doc. And I will share the link to this in the live stream, in the caption of the live stream. But we're going to just kind of go through, and I can't make this. Okay. We're going to go through really fast how we do this. And just talked about it a little bit. But it's your job. It's my job. It's Jessica's job, Amy's, Lauren, Shay's, your job to give the best customer service to the people that are investing in you, that are trusting you, that are linking arms with you to help them reach their goals. Okay. And so in that onboarding process, you'll have talked to them around what they're wanting to achieve, what they're struggling with. You'll have given them that total solution. You'll painted a picture of what these products are and programs are going to do to help them with whatever they're struggling with. Correct? Yes, that is part of that onboarding process. But then once you've got them on the other side of that enrollment screen, on the other side of that, yes, that's when the real work starts, y'all. And that is when you get to really start helping them connect the dots between what they're going to be seeing with what they're doing. Because guaranteed, they'll get halfway through or all the way through their first program and they'll be working out, and all of a sudden their digestion is feeling better, their energy is better, their brain fog is better, like they're feeling better. And they're going to go, well, it's because I'm eating healthy. I've got these meal plans and I'm working out. So I don't need this Shakeology stuff. I don't need these supplement things. And it's just, I've seen it so many times. Raise your hand if you've seen that happen, right? And I'm like, well, no, it's because of what you're drinking every day. And so that's where you have to start kind of building that platform for them to start giving them, so that the credit goes where it is due. So the first step in that Shakeology vital behavior is evaluating. So in my welcome email, and actually before I jump into this, and I'm going to go through it real fast, you'll have this document. You can go through a little slower. Just know that this is a lot of information you're getting all in one sitting. My yoga teacher used to always say, like, your brain can absorb only as much as your butt can endure. And I'm sure your brains are on overload right now. And that's okay. You can come back and watch this recording. You can take these in bite-sized chunks. And this especially is, I wanted to kind of front load that because I don't do all these things perfectly. I didn't start doing all these things at the same time. This has been, I've almost at 7 years as a coach. This is something I've created on a continuum that I constantly try to improve and stay consistent around to give a high level of customer service. There'll be times, like Amy said, she kind of has a forgetful brain. I do as well. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I forgot I used to do that. That worked really well. Why did I stop? Or I'll circle back. And so don't beat yourself up and don't jump in tomorrow thinking you've got to do all of this all at once. Okay, start with where you're at and just set little goals and see how it's working for your people. I think where you set that intention, your energy will continue to flow. So evaluate prior to starting your challenge group or your boot camp. Prior to getting started, I like to have people evaluate where they're at. You'll have kind of talked on this before you sign them up, but have them rate their energy levels, how often they're sick, how their cravings, with what they struggle with in terms of like, have them talk about their digestive system, have them talk about poop. Like, it's okay. Like, ask them the questions, right? They've looked to you and invested in you as the expert. And so a doctor wouldn't shy away from those questions. Even a waitress wouldn't shy away from the questions of you're helping someone get to their goals, right? And so ask them the questions, see what else is going on. I like to know if someone's on, like, they might not say, I might ask the question, what, you don't have any health issues? I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. But if I ask the question, are you on medicine for anything? Are you on prescriptions from your doctor for anything? All of a sudden they've got this laundry list of things. And I'm like, well, those are health issues. And so be creative with how you're asking these questions so you can get a really well-rounded picture. I like to stay away from the word, what are your goals? I want to ask, what are you struggling with? What are you looking to change? How do you want to feel? And stuff Jess kind of said. You can do this in like a Google form or a drop form, or if you're not quite there yet, just do a post in your challenge group. Do a post in your challenge group and have people do a poll or create a poll, or just like an anecdotal kind of Q&A. Okay. You can, on your getting started right call with your clients or your coaches, you can ask these questions and just take notes. However is going to work for you, but just get a baseline, because you're going to then want to connect those dots as you're helping them look in the mirror and see what's changing and what's shifting. So you can help them bring it back to like what they're doing differently and how Shakeology or whatever is, whatever their programs and products are that are helping with that. During the group, you can ask them to rate or evaluate if they're seeing differences in those areas. Keep it personal, one-on-one, and make sure they're drinking it every day. And if so, what shifts and changes have they seen? Have they found? If you're wondering if they're checking, if you're using bod groups, you can see if they're logging their shake every day. And if they're not, that's a big red flag. Like, okay, this person is probably hoarding it for the apocalypse and not drinking it, and therefore they're not going to see great results. After each challenge group or each program or however you want to interval it, you can do a little check-in. You can use the same Google form or the same check-in modality, tweak it a little so they can rate it. And then you can look and see and show them, like, look, oh my gosh, you rated your digestion at a 1 out of 10. And now you're saying like it's 7 out of 10. Like, look at that amazing progress. You can help them make those connections, right? And then if they at some point decide to cancel, postpone, or change their Shakeology commitment, you can help them, support their decisions, support that, but you can also help them see how it was such a big shift for them. Educate, okay? Educate, this is the bread and butter. A lot of times, and everyone's kind of shared what they would or wouldn't maybe do and how they would share publicly on their social media, which is essential. Like, facts tell, stories sell. We want to keep it about us online on social, but in our groups is when we get to put on that nerd hat and teach and educate and just get really excited about it. Darren and a couple of leader friends of mine many years ago created a Shakeology welcome video. I put that link there. That's one of the first things. And it teaches like how to make your shake well, a little crash course in like why to be proud of this investment they just made in themselves. And start setting the scene, right? In those groups, in your groups, you can start highlighting your own story. You can collect testimonies from other clients, other coaches, and then you can use a lot of these third-party tools. Like Jessica just shared the link to the science page. You can use those third-party tool videos that are on our Vimeo channel. Like, there's so many great resources, you guys, and not all of them belong on your social media because it is a little more Beachbody branded and not necessarily might be a good fit, but your challenge group is a perfect way. These are already people that have invested and they want to know why this is worth their money. They want to know and understand. And it takes 5 times for somebody to hear the same thing before it really sinks in. So it's okay to keep kind of revisiting this. Your testimony, your client testimony, your team's testimony are amazing tools. Okay. That is going to be what is going to be a way. We can't claim curative. We never would claim curative, but we can share the amazing benefits of other people, right? I've never had a human baby. I don't like, if I was to be pregnant, I would probably drink Shakeology, but I know other people wouldn't, right? And so I let their stories and their experiences speak for something I'll never experience. And then thinking of those problems that Shakeology solves. Okay, we're focusing on solutions, and those boot camps and challenge groups are a great way to start educating. You are here. You learned all this knowledge tonight. Now your job as a leader and a CEO is to pay that forward. Go teach, go share, and get other people excited. You can share this training with your team, and I hope you do. I hope you take this training and you put it in your new coach mentorship. And it's just, remember, it's that exposure piece, is that you have to kind of like say it over and over again. And then recognize it as our coach vital behavior. I like to take all of our coach vital behaviors and turn them into client vital behaviors, and it fits into the Shakeology vital behavior as well. Recognize and reward challengers who are logging their shakes in the bod groups, who are checking in every day with their Shakeology and their workouts. You can do a graphic, you can just type a shout out, you can use gifts or whatever you want, or just recognize themselves or tag one another. Okay, and then in your private conversations, that's essential as well. Okay, and then that big ask is how we bring it all home. We have been doing, like, they're doing those vital behaviors. They're learning, they're growing, they're using it, they're getting great results, they're excited. And then the Shakeology customer retention is as simple as helping them connect the dots. Okay, getting them set up, whether it's as a coach for the discount or just making sure they're happy with the flavor, and they can alternate flavors. They can adjust the serving quantity. They can do a combo pack. They can alternate, they can set it at whatever frequency they want, right? And so have that conversation with them. Say, let's look at 90 days, 6 months, a year out, and get them set up on what's going to help them with those big picture vision. And then it's an awesome opportunity to get them started as a coach, right? And to help them not only save money, but to feel excited and empowered, because you'll have taught them so much. They'll have their own testimony to be able to share this with others, and to see how very simple that can be. Okay. And there are some other, and we all had a couple retention tips. Keep your groups fun. Okay, keep them fun, keep them engaging. You can give a different focus. You can try different things, and that is going to be the best way to keep them continuing, so that it doesn't become Charlie Brown's teacher and white noise in the background. Get your team pumped and your clients pumped about the seasonal flavors. You guys, we sold out in hours in Canada, and like in less than a day in the United States. People are excited about these seasonal flavors, so don't be afraid to promote them and talk to them with your clients and your team. And then the key is just to drink it every day and show them your own results, your own testimony. People have only ever really cared around like why I loved it versus what I could teach them about it. Okay. And so that's really, I think, a common truth. Is there anything you guys want to add around retention before I go to our homework slide? Okay. So your homework, because we want to see you implement this. We want to see you share in the live stream of this video your own testimony. I want to hear what your Shakeology testimony is already. What have you loved? What have you learned? How's it helped you? How's it impacted you? How's it changed your health? Okay, share that. Put a picture with it if you want. Tag me or any of us, but I didn't want to volunteer that for them without asking it. I'm going to tag in your stories. You have a whole week. Okay, this is there's a prize at the end of this, a whole week to create some great posts and stories using Amy's tips, using what feels good to you, to get a little out of your comfort zone with sharing about your superfoods. Okay, and tag those. So I'm going to collect the screenshots. Okay, and I'll put them in a Google folder, and you'll be able to, I'll take all the really great ones that I see, and we'll put them in as another reference guide to like other ways you can use as inspiration. And then below this live stream, or if for some reason it goes away, email it to me. So take a screenshot of this video or this slide. What are some ways you're educating your clients and your challengers in your boot camps with what you've learned? I want to create this amazing portfolio of examples of challenge group posts. Make sense? So take a picture of this so you have these contact info, or you can just Facebook it to me. Jamie Shepherd, I'm easy to find. And what we want to create is this amazing wealth of resources so that we can all learn not to copy and duplicate, not to copycat, but to use it as inspiration and find what works for you. At the end of this, I will mail you one person, I'm not promising to everyone who does this, but one person who stands out, and I'll draw from whatever, a mason jar. I was going to do a Shakeology cup, but Amy has inspired me. I'm going to go buy a mason jar for you, a quart-sized mason jar, and I'm going to stuff it full of a couple of these products that Shay just talked about, some power greens, and I've got a couple of packets of those kind of things, and a couple of each seasonal Shakeology. So a couple caramel, salted caramel, a couple pumpkin spice, and a couple peppermint mochas in a mason jar. I will mail it to you if you like, from someone that does this homework. Sound good? I know that there's so many great questions, and I see you guys answering one another's questions. I am so proud of anyone who has sat through 2 hours and 45 minutes. So I want you to give yourself a high five and share this. This is stuff that we are all really excited about, because we have taken the time to get obsessed. We have taken the time, we've put in the sweat equity to have faith, to just see the vision, right? And so if you're brand new and you're not there yet, trust fall with this information and then create that energy and that passion for yourself, and know that it takes time. It doesn't just happen with the snap of the fingers. I think this is like a shotgun way to find that passion and belief, but really what happened, where it comes, is your time and consistency and your own due diligence. So thank you guys and gals for watching tonight, and thank you to my amazing co-hosts. I think this is like the best one ever, for sure. So and I don't know if you have anything else you want to add before I stop the live stream.